Hey guys, so today I was hoping we could finish up our Golden Wildfire playthrough for Three Houses, so that ideally we could start on one of the other two paths next time. So last time it really caught me off guard. We apparently are on the last chapter. It just kind of hit me out of nowhere. I was really thinking there was going to be a few more chapters. It felt like there's a lot more to wrap up, but then as we were saving in the middle of the playthrough, I realized it said that we were actually on the final chapter, and I was like, oh, so that means that there's 16 chapters for this particular route. I would assume that it's probably even for every single route. I don't think it would make very much sense if it wasn't. So, overall, I figured we still have a bunch of other kind of tidying up to do. I did a little bit of grinding off stream to max out like our facilities, stuff like that. That might be important. We still have to go through a lot of our support conversations. I'm not going to try and max out everyone's support conversation, especially not for one singular path. But I am planning on trying to at least get through all the ones that we do currently have. And we need to get through all of our paralogues, which it kind of saved just because I didn't want to play them off stream because I thought it'd be kind of interesting. But at the same time, I also wasn't sure, what all I wanted to do with them. I'm really hoping this one we actually find a way to help Lysithea, because if this is the last chapter, we're clearly going to have to settle things with Rhea before anything else. So I'm really not sure how all of that's going to work. But let's just go ahead and hop into some of these paralogues. I leveled up most of our characters so that even if it shouldn't be like the easiest thing in the world, these stages shouldn't be super, super painful, hopefully. What's this one's between Shamir and Leone? Fair enough. Oh, okay. That she's leaving?
Going
Oh,
somewhere?
fair enough.
Yep. Private matter. Be back in time for the next mission.
So you'll be away tonight?
I feel like not only is that probably not it, she's probably going to be pretty mad if we ask if she's heading for a romantic rendezvous.
What should I tell them?
I'd ask if she's going to go fight someone, honestly.
Which is the truth.
That or drinking with someone, but
Shamir, wait. Yeah.
Oh. Maybe an old employer. She is a mercenary. That's fair enough.
I bet you're going to
Jeez.
fight someone, right? Good guess.
Yeah.
Let's just say I'm going to cut off an old connection.
Oh, interesting.
Sounds thorny. Would you mind telling us more?
Yes. I
Oh,
would.
Well then, can we come with you?
because she didn't want to do the job. What?
Look, it's nothing. A noble
Oh,
I used
okay.
to work for asked me to do another.
And you wanted to go off by your own.
I ignored it. They persisted.
Yeah, you probably should have.
They
You should bring
had
some other people with you, Shamir. That's
in me.
the Guardians
Now
of
they're
Golden
threatening
Wildfire.
to send mercs after me.
Interesting.
Wait, why?
It's a kidnapping of a sort.
Oh,
If I refuse to
okay.
go, they'll kill
Maybe
me.
that's why she felt okay
So,
going on her
I'm
own.
going to strike first.
If it's just a
Bold
single
move.
squad, but
Who are the mercs?
okay.
The Guardians of Fodlan.
That's the huge mercenary
Yeah.
group that's been making a name for themselves.
Maybe
in
not
this
quite
war,
the same
right?
thing, but they are still mercs, It's part of the
Well,
occupation.
The noble in question only employs a single squad,
Yeah.
not the entire force. I'd hoped not to see them again, but
Maybe she's one of our allies, and even if it's just one
So you'll be
squad,
fighting old friends?
wouldn't go that far. We worked together once.
To be fair, she is an archer.
Can I go now?
There's a chance that she just,
Not without me, you can't.
Yeah, I figured this was going to say.
Figured
To be
you'd
fair, we've
say
used Shamir for a good
that.
part of
And
the
why do I
playthrough.
need
We've
to
never used
involve any
Leone.
affairs exactly?
But
Besides, this is going to be
yeah,
dangerous.
no, I'd say we all
These
feel the
mercs
same.
have no
That
qualms
said,
against underhanded tactics. This army
yeah,
needs you too.
you would argue that if
So
it's just
let's-
one squad, maybe Shamir can just,
The army also
shoot him
needs
from a
you.
distance with a bow.
Besides,
But this is
I
Fire
thought
Emblem.
I'd do if something
There's obviously got
happened
to be
you.
an actual, ordeal.
And I'm not the only one who feels
Is
that
it just
way,
the three of us?
correct?
Okay. Any allies are routed, that's fine.
We're
I thought I
coming,
saw
and
blue
that's the end
symbols
of it.
in those forts for a while, which is a little bit concerning.
Whatever.
But it does look like
Do what you
the,
want.
okay, it's 1,500 enemies, 12 minutes.
Let's go.
I'm not so worried about the 12 minutes so much as I am the 1,500 enemies here. I've been realizing that the time limit on a lot of these stages are actually pretty forgiving. It's more just that we've been rushing through them. And I also realized you can just push the minus button a little bit ago, and it'll tell you exactly where you're at. Because right now it says we're at 8 KOs, but the counter says we're at 22. Which is pretty ridiculous, honestly. But this stage shouldn't be too bad. They're all level 27s. I'm a little bit worried about some of the higher rank stages. I mean, the highest rank paralogue that I saw there was the Lysithea stage, which is 45, but our Lysithea is like level 50, high 50s. So that shouldn't theoretically be an issue.
Take the camp. Let's go.
There's also the, I don't know, the Ashen Wolves one is a little bit different too. Because in the Ashen Wolves paralogue, I think it's like a level 40, and all of my Ashen Wolves, I did level up to level 40 with gold. I did like another hour and a half of grinding after stream again. Just to get a little bit of gold, little bit of econ going, you know, make sure that we're okay for these paralogues. And they're not too painful. That said, it's still going to be a little bit weird. But this particular one shouldn't be too bad. And I figured we'd do the easier ones, lower level ones earlier. Just because at that point, you know, we'll also have some more gold built up, hopefully. So if we really struggle or really are worried about some of the higher level ones, for characters that we don't have leveled up, we can just, you know, level them up a little bit more at that point. We can also swap some weapons around. There's a few other options, like, we've seen just how big of a difference it is using different weapons on certain characters. Where is... Yeah, this one at least shouldn't be a huge problem. I'm a little surprised, though, that they're going after just Shamir. Well, I don't know. Except for maybe, like, the quote-unquote obvious reason. It's a little bit surprising that they're just going after Shamir in particular. Unless, I know she said that they've taken an interest in her, but it is just one mercenary. I like Shamir, but it's pretty crazy. I don't know how to get into these forts. That's X off, that's X off. Oh, you know what? I think it's up through where Shez is. Some of these stages just have the most obnoxious paths to get, like, they'll get into just one specific way to get into it. I know we had the issue on the stage we actually... Was it the stage we recruited Byleth in? No, it was the stage that Byleth was fighting Shez the entire time. Because I remember we took Claude around the back way to get into the fort that they were fighting. And then we found out that you couldn't go that way and we had to go all the way around. And it was like the worst thing ever. But overall though, like, I've been very happy with this game. I think it's a lot of fun. I think they improved on a lot of the aspects that the older Warriors struggled with. So, really, really cool. Honestly. But... yeah, so I think we go in through here. Yeah, that appears to be it. Never mind. Seize the strongholds and destroy the... How? Hold up. I'm really confused here. Okay, maybe it's through the way Leonie's in here? Unless there's a gatekeeper somewhere. I didn't see a gatekeeper unit. Our Leonie is level 40, but I don't think she has upgraded skills or weapons. She can probably take care of it, I'd have to imagine. But I am a little bit confused as to why they designed it this way. Yeah, there we go. I get that, like, in terms of maybe... Okay, you're defending a base, you're probably not... What are we doing? 3 minutes? Okay. I get that in terms of defending a base, you're probably not going to leave every route open. But it does just seem a little bit odd that we ran around the entire way on, like, 3 different forts. Although if we check the map there, to be fair, it did make it pretty clear that certain forts were, like, blocked off. Like, darkened out until we captured this one, but still. Just seems a little bit odd to me. But we were only at about 500 enemies, so we're probably going to need to take out as many as we can. I really don't know... I mean, there's obviously S-rank rewards for all these stages, so I'm not sure how much it matters. Especially for these earlier level stages. You'd think that, like, this paralogue was available to us from pretty early on. So you'd think that the rewards from it probably wouldn't be too detrimental if we missed out on them. But the goal was to get S-rank on everything. Currently we have an S-rank on everything. When we glanced over the, this last stage 2 for this chapter, apparently you can get Parthia, which I think is really funny. Because our Byleth is actually using Mercurius, which is like one of the 3 famous Altan weapons from, like, Marth's story. Shadow Dragon is the one I played, but I know that's, like, one of the original Fire Emblems. Which makes me wonder if Gravitas is also in the game. Because Parthia is the bow, Mercurius is the sword. It would make sense that the Lance Gravitas is in here if they're going to do that, but who can tell, honestly. I think thematically, though, that just has to be the case. But I don't know where you would find Gravitas unless it's in a paralogue or another route. Because we're apparently at the end of the game. So if it's not in a paralogue, I have no idea.
I don't recognize many faces here. Maybe it's not the same squad.
But yeah, Shez is really powerful. I didn't realize for such a long time how much of a difference it was going to make to change out all of our skills. It makes a pretty big difference, honestly. Like that last skill, even though it costs quite a bit of weapon ability, or weapon durability, you have to consider we also have a maximum of 320 right now on Shez. And it's been really nice not having her just lower herself to half health immediately every fight. In fact, we could just do this to help clear out all the enemies. Because we are using the sword that Claude's brother Prince Shahid dropped for a very, very long time. And it gave us a higher crit chance in exchange for, as long as you were above 50% health, it would give you a higher crit chance, but you would lose health. And I thought that was going to go a lot better than it was. It turned out, though, like... Because we leveled it up to, like, plus 50, thinking that it was going to be super worth it. It wasn't. It really wasn't. Which is actually genuinely surprised me. I thought that would be the case, and it fell off. But here, like here it says, right, that we've defeated... One sec, I want to... There we go. It says we've defeated 719 foes. The actual count's 981. The old Fire Emblem Warriors had a similar issue. I just don't get why. My concern now is... This might be a case of... Because it's a level 27 stage and all of our characters here are level 40 or higher, we might not be... Oh, never mind, we're good. I was going to say, we might not be getting enough credit for all of the... And we're good on time, yeah. For all of the enemies that we're killing. Simply because our allies are killing them. I don't know if those even count. I would imagine so. But at the same time, because maybe that's what's contributing to the chaos that we don't have, you know? It could be a number of things. But 200 enemies from each of the other two would make sense. But would you see? At the end of the day, I just think that they did keep in mind, like, there's never really been a stage so far that I've been like, I literally just have to run around and search for, you know, enemies to fight. Because we've cleared out everything and we don't have the KO count. Which is really, really cool, actually. Because that would be a kind of a big flaw in game design, to be fair. So it's good that they kept that in mind. Because I did feel that occasionally in the older Warriors. But, like I've said multiple times, I really think that they really paid a lot of attention to, you know, kind of what they were going to do with this new Fire Emblems. And I think that's just really cool. They expanded the Three Houses universe, did a completely new, like, side story, but they also just didn't abandon their old world base completely, though it's obviously very different. You know, Violet's not a professor, we were a student, not a professor, like we initially thought. Stuff like that, but... Just one of those things that... I wasn't sure how much thought they put into it, because the old Fire Emblem Warriors really did just feel like, hey, we're going to take all the characters everyone knows and loves, just kind of use them for fun. And it didn't quite feel like it had the same spirit as it could have. Whereas this, you know, very much a lot of thought. I wondered how it's been received so far in the community, because it's only been out for like a week. I think it came out on the 18th, I want to say. I might be wrong on that. I mean, we waited for a long time, but to be fair, we also streamed on it on like day one that it came out, so. I don't know, because we're on part... For the YouTube VODs, I've just been naming each VOD, you know, different part. I think this is part 5 or 6. I want to say part 6, but I might be wrong on that. Okay, yeah, we should be good on enemies. Just take out a couple mobs in the way. But, I don't know, just interesting stuff. I would have maybe sent Shez or Shamir up here, but Leonie was closer. But they give you ample amount of time to do these stages. I mean, we are over leveled for this particular stage, so it's really easy to make sure that we're... What? Didn't count any of those enemies. Oh. The others should be heading up here too. Yeah, I just... Like I said, if I can get Nest rank on every stage possible... I don't know if there's any paralogues are missing too. Because, to my knowledge, you know, we should have done... See, it only says we went up... Wow, okay. We should have done every paralogue. To my knowledge. That is available. At least we have, you know, we haven't done them, but we have them available to us. Because I don't think we've missed recruiting on any characters, as far as I understand. Like I said, I've only taken a quick glance. I haven't even looked at the list of recruitable characters in, like, a few days. I just looked at it before the game came out, and then I kind of just remember it was on there. But, maybe there's a paralogue for one or two hidden characters. I really don't remember who was all on the list. It's just one of those, like, knowing off of who is in Three Houses. I think most of them are, like, everyone that's in other kingdoms that we haven't already recruited probably isn't getting recruited on this path. Just a thought. There we go. Okay, we're good. So I just gotta sit there and think, you know, like, is there anyone else that maybe we could have recruited? Like, we could have potentially recruited Hanneman and Manuela. That didn't happen. Bunch of other stuff like that. Oh, there's more to the stage. That's awkward. Probably just an enemy commander, if I had to guess. If there isn't, though, we definitely dilly-dallied a bit too long. Where's the enemy? Yeah, I was going to say this is quite a lot just to take on one person.
We've got company. We were supposed to take her alive, but dead
Interesting.
just as well.
Okay, well then. Yeah, we really didn't think this through.
How many people did
'Cause we
you
only have,
bring
like,
just
another
to
2
take on
minutes.
Shamir?
Sorry to disappoint,
Yeah,
girl,
2.5
but I'll
minutes.
make up for it by killing
Huh.
you, too.
I really kept thinking, oh, okay, we'll be at the end of the stage. But yeah, Leonie has a good point. They sent quite a few mercenaries just to attack Shamir. Pretty crazy.
They never did learn to hide their presence. Hence these pathetic
Mercenary captain
sacrifices.
appeared. Okay, that has to be the commander. Perfect.
The leader's patience is running.
But yeah, they do give you ample amount of time, even if you're messing around. That said, if we were actually on the level, like if we weren't able to just, you know, one-shot a lot of these enemies, would have been cutting it close. I might have had to redo the stage at that point, just because I messed around too much. But, again, just everything in this game seems to be been really, really well thought out, and I think that's really cool.
You're still alive. Huh.
Perfect.
Guess it really is only the good who die.
Yeah, you have no idea how much I wish I'd realized this entire time that I could see by pushing the minus button. Also, I just didn't realize on the pre-fight screen, because I always just hurried through and didn't even pay attention. It can tell you exactly where you're at on time. I kept pushing the map menu, because that's what it was in the previous one, and then you had to just hover over a space on the map that you weren't, like, currently using a character on.
We won! Hooray!
And lo and behold, it turns out you totally can. I just wasn't looking at the right button. Because you never press the minus button for, like, any game, I swear. But overall, mostly just me being dumb, if I have to be honest. But that's one of the paralogues. Let's see what they have to say afterwards. Yeah. Yeah. With the amount of enemies that they pulled into this, she might have been able to, you know. I mean, she is like level 45, but yeah.
Sorry I dragged you into this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or I guess you
I mean,
dragged
3
yourself.
versus all of them instead of 1 versus
Either
all of them
way,
is
it's good you were
triple the
there.
number of people.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you could have handled them pretty easily on your
It's one of
own.
those, like, historically...
Their aim was to
Yeah,
overwhelm me with
that's
sheer
historically
numbers and
something
wear
that
me
I think a
down.
lot of
Against a force that large, it's entirely possible I
groups
could
have
have
used.
Throwing so many
Hit 'em with
men and
numbers.
women out there is
I mean, to be fair, that's what the
kinda
Almirans
hard
tried to use
strategy.
when they attacked us as well, and it didn't
Found
work.
fame and glory if it had worked. And
But
it's not
Fire
like
Emblem's
it
always been that kind of game where it's like a small elite force takes out the
Besides,
massive army.
the more of your
Awakening
comrades
did that.
die, the bigger your share of the
I
reward.
think Fates did it to some
Pretty good
extent, you
deal
know.
if you're left standing when the dust settles.
Shadows of Valentia, Almond Celica's remake story. I think they had an original story, did that.
It seemed like
Basically, every
the
Fire
party
Emblem
was
actually
moving
kind of did
forward.
that, though.
Yeah,
Where a small
I've
elite
never
force can
fought
take out
before,
the massive army.
but it was a long time
Partially
ago.
because of plot armor, but usually because of some kind of defensive formation. You know, we had the little
Not unusual
tunnel that
for
we
a
were
small
fighting through
world.
against the Almirans.
The
Just
longer you
interesting.
do this, the more grudges you earn, whether you remember. You've been a merc for a long time, though. I assume that kind of stuff doesn't bother you anymore.
Yeah, mostly.
Well, the
I
noble's still
try to stay
standing, so...
detached, but every now and again something slips through.
Oh.
I'm not so sure I could keep my
Yeah,
emotions
seems
in
so.
check like that. I guess that shows how much further I still have to go. But this
Oh.
means things with that noble who used to employ you are over now. right?
Hope so. But she's a tenacious one.
Oh, so it's a
I
woman.
didn't expect,
She
yeah,
must
I
really want
bet you
back
don't,
fighting
Leonie.
for her.
I
Yeah,
really
it's
didn't
not the only thing
think
she wants from me.
Fire Emblem was gonna hit
Let's
on that
just
kind of
say
lesson.
finesse and leave it at that.
Because it's a Nintendo game.
Just remember.
I know exactly what Shamir was
someone's
talking about,
never
Leonie.
said, move on.
Avoid a super awkward conversation. Yeah.
Even what? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
To be fair,
Anyway,
everyone's an
good night.
adult right now.
Thanks again.
100%. But, because you have to consider like a
Do you know
3-year
what
time
Shamir
skip
was
since the
talking about?
academy. And they weren't exactly like kids in the academy, so.
You'll
I think they were all like
understand
16, 17 if I had to guess.
Well,
So,
now I'm really
Theoretically, yeah,
curious.
they're all
I'll
adults
have
now,
to
but
ask Shamir about it later.
yeah, avoid a super awkward conversation. But yeah, we need to get through these paralogs, all these support conversations. We have a ton. Honestly, some of the minor ones I think I might just skip. Like, I hate to say it, but I really don't care what Ignatz has to say. I wanted to go through every single one, but again, maybe some of these we'll go through entirely. But there's so many of them. I might skip the basic ones with, like, I don't know, Ignatz. But the characters I actually like, which is a good number. I'm just thinking, like, Ignatz, Lorenz. I really don't like Lorenz, though. But Ignatz, Lorenz, Raphael. Probably would skip Leonie's, honestly. We don't even have any with Linhardt. But most of the characters I'd be interested enough in what they have to say, all the Ashen Wolves and such. It's mostly just, like, these three. And maybe Leonie that I just never was super invested in his characters. Not that they don't have a great design, it's one of those, like, I think every single character had people who very much worked hard to make their designs likable. You don't connect with every character. But let's go through Dorothy's cutscenes. Well, at least go through, like, a full character or two, I think. So we've got 2 here, maybe another character. But last time, you know, oh, now they're having tea. Dorothy sang for her, and Chez just didn't kind of get it, which is fair. They're in medieval times, and Chez is a mercenary. Oh, okay. It wasn't Lawrence. Interesting.
That reminds me, I actually found myself at a
Well, there you
noble's
go.
tea party not too long ago.
Oh, you must be talking about Lawrence, right? He does
Teas.
love his tea.
Yeah.
No. It
I don't
happened
mind
while I
tea.
was doing some work as a bodyguard.
It just kind of depends on the type of tea. I have a really hard time with, like, coffee if it's not super sweetened up. I don't know if that's just me, but I don't know. Yeah. I was actually surprised they did, like, an opera voice. It was pretty nice. Have the background in it, if you don't grow up. I don't think that's necessarily always the case, but I think it's something that clearly in, like, a medieval setting was probably, you know, a little bit different. Because nowadays, you know, there's lots of things I don't understand. I don't understand how to draw very much about art, but I still appreciate them. More of a music guy. I'd agree with her ideals here. But, yeah. Is the opera free? Oh, wow. That's fair. Yeah, mercenaries live on the road.
It'd be good if that's how things worked.
Yeah.
You think it's not?
Ignorance is bliss. That's basically the point Jess is going with.
I would have gladly eaten a half-cooked rat if it meant I was getting food in my belly. It's only since I
Is it
joined up with this
Dorothea?
army
I
that
just always
realized
assumed it was
how
Dorothy,
little
but now that
boys
I
are.
keep hearing them, I
What
think
I'm
they do
saying
pronounce
is,
that
you'll
last
never have the
Ia
chance to eat
a little
good
bit more
food.
pronounced than
You'll never know what good food is
usually you
supposed
would.
to taste like. Not that that's
She gonna sing
necessarily
again?
a bad thing, but
In that case,
Dorothea?
sorry. I got a bit
So Manuela's the
caught
one
up in
who
my thoughts
discovered her.
there. But I think
That's
it
fair.
might be just as you say. Will you indulge me for a moment?
Sure. What's on your mind?
When I
That's
first
fair,
started
yeah.
singing, I did it for me. Only me.
Tension
But it
Rose.
wasn't long
That's
until
probably how
my
she
mom
ended up at the
discovered my
academy.
gift. So, I joined the opera company.
Oh, or that, yeah.
Incredible. I wanted the whole world to hear my singing.
Oh,
Once
I don't
became
think
a
that's the
songster,
case.
I started
Yeah.
attracting more and more
I think everyone does
attention
as well. I
from
think we're just
nobles.
around nobles the whole lot.
Before I knew it, I wasn't singing for myself anymore.
Yeah, because
singing for
Chez
them.
was a mercenary.
Now you can't even
There was never a
appreciate
reason
my
for her to,
songs
like,
if you
she
aren't
even
part of
mentioned
the
she
silver
didn't really
screen
spend any
heroes.
time in any of the big cities. It was mostly like smaller areas, guarding, stuff like that. Even when she initially came to the Alliance for the 2-year time skip, it didn't seem like she spent a whole lot of time around, like, where Claude was. It felt like she really was just kind of a mercenary out doing her own thing. Which is kind of sad. You'd think
Appreciate that.
Claude would have, you know,
I really do.
taken care of her, but...
I still
Eh.
can't help but wonder.
That's nice.
La 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 la.
No, I thought that was a pleasing tone. But
La 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 la.
yeah.
How was that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good.
Still the
I
same
don't think...
reaction,
See, the thing
huh?
is, too, like, I don't think
So,
that...
me and singing just
Nobody
don't
remembers
mix
the
very
lyrics.
well.
I don't think that Chez is, like...
It did make me feel
I like
weird
Chez
inside.
partially because they're not just as
Kinda like I was a kid again.
blatantly, like, emotionless half the time as Byleth are.
You do get it. That was
But...
a lullaby from a long, long time ago.
I feel like...
Nowadays, nobody remembers the lyrics.
I don't know, they did a good job with the character, like, a little bit rough around the edges.
For that matter.
Which makes sense, you know, as a mercenary.
A lullaby, huh? I guess that's why it took me back the way it did.
The lack of lyrics actually works, yeah. And stuff like that, I think.
Nobody knows the words. How are you so sure that's even what it is? Just from how it
Yeah.
sounds.
Well, there
Just
was
the
this
melody.
scholar who researched it a few years ago and said as much. Couldn't tell you if they were right, though.
That's true.
Huh.
A lot of people might not have been able to.
Honestly, I kind of like that it didn't have any words. That way it can hit you straight in the heart without all that lyric.
But there's a lot of cases like that in real life. Like,
I'm glad to hear you giving music more thought now.
like I had a friend who was super into like high level Super Smash Bros. Melee play, which I don't know if there's still a scene for it after all this time, but there was a couple years ago, which was surprising to me. But it's one of those, like, it was entertaining to me to watch that type of stuff with him, you know? But I obviously didn't understand all the mechanics behind it, all of that stuff. Same thing with like art, you know, same things for other people with music. It's just cool how you can still, there's obviously like the depth of the people who really understand all the stuff behind it can appreciate it because of that. But a lot of times with forms like that, the people who don't can still appreciate it too. That's why, like, I still watch, like, I don't even play League of Legends anymore because it got so toxic. But, like, and I was never, like, a ranked player or anything. I just kind of played for fun, even back then. But, you know, I'm still, every now and then I'll just pull up a game of, like, Pro League of Legends just to kind of see, and it's entertaining, but I know for a fact I don't understand how they, like, prep all the waves, all the macro, everything like that. That type of thing. Just so many examples of it.
There's just
Yeah.
something beautiful about the way you speak.
Yeah, sorry. Not to ignore this wholesome conversation. I really like, though, how all of them are, like, either a little bit funny or really wholesome. It's just one of those, like, feel-good... I think, given everything crazy going on in the actual storyline, they really did want the support conversation to feel like they're, you know, support.
Here I am struggling to even make proper sentences when I try to talk about your singing.
Oh.
Thank you for the kind words. It makes me feel a lot better hearing you say those things about me.
Interesting. Another thing that I think Fire Emblem doesn't get enough credit for is they do a really good job of writing main characters, whether it be Robin, whether it be... I know people didn't like Corrin very much, but whether it be like Robin, whether it be Byleth, whether it be Shez, that you have to consider not only do they have to represent potentially every variety of person, they also have to represent male versus female, stuff like that, and I think they do a really good job of making characters that can do that really well. You know, nobody's going to completely connect with them, I think, usually, but still.
Constance, is that you?
Oh, I forgot Constance. I remembered it this as I was doing just some grinding the other day when I just leveled up my characters that weren't like when I was leveling up just the Ashen Wolves with gold. And she had kind of a line like this. I forgot that Constance really hated it when it was like the middle of the day.
I shall vacate the premises at once to spare you any further distress.
Oh.
No, wait, don't go. Since you're here,
Poor
why don't we
Constance.
train together? You're here because you're trying to achieve your dream, right?
Though it pains me to
She
deny
also-
such kind words, of which I am truly
I mean, I bet-
worthy.
I mean, we have characters like Geralt and obviously the semi-immortals. I don't know if Rhea counts, but like, you know, characters that live for a long time, like, I don't know, Tiki in the Fire Emblem universe. But it's still strange to me because you'd never think that in, like, medieval times, life expectancy would be that long. Just not something that would really pop up in my mind.
Training so you
You
don't
know,
die is as good
so
a reason as any.
It's one of those things that
That's why I'm
every now and then I think about it. I guess they have magic, which does affect things, but, you know. Oh, it's nighttime now. She might be a little bit more upbeat.
Well, since you have given it much more consideration than I
Okay.
deserve.
Yeah. It's like she's two entirely different human people. They've been training from like daytime until nightfall,
To think my other
and now
side would be
Constance
able to
like,
keep up with such rigorous
all of a sudden I'm right.
training.
You okay, Constance?
Never better. In fact, I am just getting started. Are you leaving so soon?
Well, part of the logic behind working out, doing bodybuilding, weightlifting, I don't know what they're doing exactly, they might just be running, is that it breaks down your muscles and then they, you know, regrow stronger.
Making my dreams
You can't
a
just do it
reality.
24/7 even if you had the energy to do so.
Allow something so
You know.
trifling as exhaustion to stand
But
in my way.
also,
Who knows how long things would take if I did?
a little bit hard to explain.
Therefore, I shall spare no opportunity
Jeez.
to train today. And tomorrow, all of
Oh,
Golden will behold my
no.
military prowess.
She wants Shez to be a
That's all
personal
well and
trainer.
good, but then why didn't you want to train before?
I told you
Oh,
there were
no.
extenuating
Oh, I forgot she wanted to
circumstances.
do magical experience on
Had I
Shez.
known you would
Yeah, that's a
respond in
no.
such a manner, I would have asked for your assistance much
Just dropping
earlier.
this one weapon.
Oh, I just had
I mean, do they drop their weapons very often?
I've got a bad feeling about this.
No.
We can train together and conduct magical
No.
experiments at the same time.
It's a terrible idea.
You see, I've invented this particular spell that imbues the palms with a suction power that makes dropping one's weapon a hindrance
Confidence.
of
The other has
past.
none.
I'm
We're
gonna
lacking.
Go ahead and respectfully decline on behalf of everyone.
Yeah, the issue is they're usually fighting on during the day.
That is rather disappointing. Very
So if
well
things
then.
were flipped,
Let us
actually, it might be a little bit
proceed.
easier on him.
One
Let's
side
another one
has an
down. We have
overabundance
2
of
happy
confidence,
conversations, 3
while
Petra
the other
conversations.
is
I'm
clearly lacking it.
pretty
Maybe
sure
to
every
balance
dot
each other out.
maybe there's one. I'm still confused about that. Like Yuri, it seems like
Let us be
there's only
advocates.
2. Let's maybe do... It's not that I don't like Raphael and Ignatz. Like, personally, they seem like... It's just one of those, like, I don't think I'd actually... But we have a conversation between the 2 of them. Why not? We'll listen to it. We did skip by, I think, Ignatz's C rank. It just... It's hard to be invested in every single character. Even if they're likable. I don't think that they're not likable. I'm just not invested in them, you know? But these 2 have been around for the longest time, to be fair.
Hey there, Ignatz. Oh,
Oh, Raphael.
I've been looking all over for you. Got a
Okay,
minute
so
to
this
chat?
is right after the
Of
2-year
course.
time skip.
With all the battles lately,
Yeah.
we barely had any time to sit down and
Even in
rest.
3 Houses, that was kind of like, out of nowhere it
I
felt.
don't even see you anymore.
The,
And I definitely don't have enough time
yeah.
to show off my muscles.
the Officers Academy just kind of
Glad to see you haven't
shut
changed
down.
at
The
all
last time that was
this
pretty
year.
much during our,
The
like,
Officer
when we
Academy
weren't
shut
there.
down so suddenly. I scarcely would have imagined we'd all end up
Hmm.
back together as part of an army.
Same here.
Yeah.
Oh, and I could hardly
Lawrence is
believe
just
my
one of
ears
those types
when
of people
found
that I
inside
think
of
maybe his
midnight
speech patterns are what...
Lawrence.
I mean, it's what turns me off a little bit.
To be honest,
But it's also partially how he was raised, everything like that. It's hard to
him and
change
his
those kinds of
girlfriend.
habits.
Gotcha, gotcha. He's not such a bad guy, that Lawrence.
I agree. But tell me,
Hmm.
Raphael, how have you been holding up these past 2 years?
Oh.
I hear your family opened an inn.
Oh, yeah. Me, my grandpa, and
Hmm.
Maya. Business is going pretty great, if you ask me.
Mm,
That's wonderful. And how is
Okay.
Maya?
She's as sunny as always. That
what's he
reminds
said
me,
about?
She was pretty worried about you. I better write her a letter and tell her
It
it's
doesn't, but
okay.
why are you saying
I'm
this?
sure she wants to see you. Bet you're feeling the same way.
Did
huh?
they know each other as children?
Of course, I'd love to come and... That is... I should
Yeah,
write her a
every kid does.
What's wrong?
Life never works
Yeah,
out
but that's
the
just
way
confidence.
Does it?
Yeah,
Huh?
Oh, it's nothing.
that's options off the
Just
table.
thinking back to my
Yeah, I
childhood.
mean, the Officer Academy shut down, but
I felt like I had the power to do whatever I wanted.
What do you mean?
well, that's a good way to think about it, I suppose.
You do?
Sure.
I mean, the ideal here is for the Federation to create a world where there doesn't need to be any more knights or fighting, stuff like that, but
But look at me now.
could be interesting. That was a nice
Might not be
conversation.
a knight,
Alright, let's hop into another paralogue real quick. There's also a chance, because we'll be using units in these paralogues that we don't very often, that will end up with more, you know, support conversations, so I don't want to just sit here and do all of them. But this is the one with those 3, yeah, Raphael, Ignatz, and Lawrence. This could be a little bit iffy. It's level 30, I think I leveled them all up to level 40, and gave them some decent weapons. But we'll see what happens. We'll also probably have Shez, so worst comes to worst, we just use Shez. Forgive my intrusion. Oh. Oh,
Ignatz Victor reporting, Your Excellency.
Yes, yes, come in.
interesting.
Greetings, Your Excellency.
Okay. See,
I
Lawrence has good
was
intentions
supposed
most
to
of the time,
say,
though.
"Forgive my intrusion."
I think the only character that, like,
Yes.
you could argue that Hubert has good intentions for Edelgard and the Empire.
may
I
have a
cannot
time
overstate how much I
when we are
dislike
as
Hubert.
friends as we have always been. All this formality is
but-
starting to make my skin crawl. Please,
Lawrence,
just treat me the same as ever you
I
have.
don't necessarily like, but,
Of course. Anyway,
you know,
what do you need?
I don't, like, I'm just kind of neutral on a lot of these characters. There's very, very few characters, outside of, like, the obvious, like,
They've been around for a while.
the ones that are meant to be villains, obviously, you know, that I really, really dislike. Like, obviously, I don't like Solo and stuff like that, but as far as, like, the actual house's characters, all the playable characters go, I think it really is just Hubert. Everyone else I'm just kind of either neutral on or I do like, so.
One in
Yes.
the employ of my father.
I-
But the leaders of the houses, though, I actually like all 3 of their post-time skip designs in this game. Post-time skip,
but
in 3
why would they do
houses.
that?
I didn't really like Edelgard post-time skip, but that's because she was causing wars with everyone.
But his only
I didn't
concern
mind
was
Claude.
just
I
finding
liked
new
Claude.
opportunities
Claude just was pretty laid back. I don't think he changed very much in either game, to be fair, between time skips. Just never kind of felt like that to me. Dimitri post time skip here I actually do really like. But post time skip in the previous one, I think once he kind of calmed down from going insane, but which only happens in the kingdom path, to be fair. I thought he was rather likable too. It was just he was kind of going crazy with grief and everything that had happened because he took things so seriously, whereas here it's more just he actually just kind of stayed very, very similar, which I know. I think both, it's kind of like just an artistic interpretation, I guess. Both of them make sense to some extent, but still kind of interesting.
Once, I wish one of my acquaintances could split the difference between absurd formality and dire
Okay.
nonchalance. I am a count now, you know.
Without the title saying
So are we not friends because you're a count?
it's in my territory. Okay.
No, what I meant to say is,
Ooh,
Yeah, no big
enough
problem.
with the titles. I'm a busy woman, so let's get moving.
And you
already.
probably don't have to pay them, except for maybe Shez, because Shez is a literal mercenary. Though they're commander of the Federation, but
I asked you here because I need your
this is
help
just
getting
post
the
time
bandits
skip,
in
so
my
I don't know if they were
district.
technically commander at this point.
Well, sure. I'm happy to help.
I don't remember when all of these paralogues kind of came into place, but some of them, like this one, obviously directly
Sure
mentioned
does.
when it was, so
Besides,
that's pretty cool.
Just you and Ignatz try to do it.
Oh,
You're gonna
okay.
get kicked into next moon.
Have you ever considered
That's
not
fair
saying
enough.
the first thing that pops
It's
into
very
your
similar
head?
to
The truth
probably
is
what
we
they were doing,
easily
and if they
handle
can't find
this
work as
because I
mercs,
am
which
simply being
even
cruel.
Geralt mentioned, you know, well, we can handle it. But even Geralt kind of mentioned that it was harder for them to find work, and that's part of the reason they started working with us.
Mercenary to bandit career
But I do get the feeling that no matter what path you take, because you have to consider, to get Byleth and Geralt to join, and I'm still concerned that, like, if we hadn't recruited them when they did, it did say it drastically changed the story. I wonder if we would have actually killed Byleth, and we wouldn't have had all of those extra story scenes with, like, us trying to fight Byleth, that being an entire fight. Or if it would have just been, they would have been like green units, and we wouldn't have been able to use them in general, but they still would have been in the series. You know? Just one of those interesting things that I've wondered. But let's hop into this. It's just fighting bandits. 10 minutes, 1,200 enemies, no big deal.
Neat, please.
Like I said, I leveled up the base units. I re-equipped everyone with at least somewhat up-to-date weapons, at least like silver weapons. That doesn't mean they're going to be that useful. But we'll just kind of see how this goes. Their skills also aren't going to be leveled up. Lots of potential problems. But overall, 10 minutes, 1,200 enemies, not the biggest of deals. At least we have Shez. That's what concerns me about the Ashen Wolves path, is the Ashen Wolves path has all 4 members of the Ashen Wolves. So I think there's potential that we literally don't get to use Shez, and Shez is kind of what is going to bail us out of a lot of these, you know, stages that we're not ready for. Like, he's not doing terrible damage. I don't know what his skills do. I think I changed everyone's skill, at least one of them, to one of the higher level skills. Like, that's not terrible damage. This is a level 30. Oh, okay, my Raphael is only level 35. Still doable, still doable. Looks like everyone kind of started out next to a thief. Okay, Ignatz level 30. I thought I'd leveled everyone up to 40, but maybe that's not the case. To be fair, we also probably ran out of gold. We got Ice Caster, so Ignatz can use Ice Magic for some reason. That is interesting, because it's not that everyone... I mean, Lysithea used to have, like, one specific strong attack that casted Ice. But in hindsight being what it is, we really don't cast Ice that much, which is interesting. Nice wind. Apparently a little bit of dark. Perfect. But we're just gonna... Oh. Are we? I don't even remember where that is. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Well, was Claude's grandfather killed by bandits? Because if so, there's potential.
I think you are correct.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Connection to that most unfortunate incident.
yeah, I don't think Lauren's meant that in like an offensive way, but yeah, I don't know why we would know every single one.
You yourself are a former mercenary, yes?
Okay.
Pray point out
Open up the
everyone
gates,
you recognize.
perfect. I don't think we had any loss conditions, did we? Oh, we're in this castle. We're kind of on the opposite side of when we were in the other mission. It's one of the missions I grinded quite a bit, was the one where you fight Flane. One of like the last missions in this chapter, actually.
Foul marauders shall terrorize my
It was on this stage, but we started from within the castle. We worked our way to these two forts, the one we just stood in and this one that Thief's coming from. And then we fought Flame, like, way in the back left. So it's just one of those interesting things that they ended up doing. Let's send... Who's the highest level here, Lawrence? Let's send Lawrence over to fight this Thief, and we'll take the one on the right side. I don't know if we lose if they reach the evacuation point. But it's one of those we should probably not let it happen, just in case.
My mother and father
Now it is my turn.
Interesting.
died not too far
Monster
from
attacks
here.
group. I wonder if they were behind it.
Long time ago now.
That would be kind of crazy.
They were merchants
You hire
once.
mercenaries to help, and potentially in order to make sure they still had work, you know?
They were traveling with the old
Maybe that's what they were doing.
got attacked by monsters.
During the period when my father employed these mercenaries, monster attacks were a rather common occurrence in this region.
Jeez.
And these monsters took the lives of both the
What does
poor
ZR do?
and
Oh, that's fancy. Little red tornadoes. Lawrence is one of the units that I kept trying to force us to use. I just assume it's because he's one of the first units we get, but I think he's also one of the closest, like, almost retainer characters to Claude. So. I think they have another escape route. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it looks like now they're trying to get to the back. Yeah, I'm guessing that whatever the right weapon skill is, or the left one, I guess, on my screen, would be, it's right behind my head. You can't see it, but the weapon skill that he's just kind of sitting there and doing, like, nothing, I'd have to imagine means that he's probably doing some kind of buff. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make much sense to me. I wonder, I've still been wondering if achievements carry over from playthrough to playthrough. Because if they don't, that's a lot of free resources, but if they do, that's different resources. Because I can't imagine getting every one of those achievements. I think there's like 300 something, maybe 400 something. I think I took a quick glance, but I don't remember how many there are. There's a bandit that's about to reach the evacuation point. Oops. Here I am just rambling on not paying attention. That might cause us to fail, actually. That's really awkward. Oh my gosh. That's only the second battle that you know, we restarted like the Dorothy one, we restarted another one when specific people died. That was me just not paying attention, honestly. I should have sent Shez up there while Ignatz was fighting the other thief here. It's fine. Have Shez run up here. I'll have Ignatz immediately start fighting that one. Yeah, I just wasn't paying enough attention though, that's really awkward. Interesting. So Raphael's little, he has 3 bits next to his bar. That, doesn't seem terrible, but it's not a crazy amount of damage.
I think this will go
I should have just had, I wasn't 100% certain which one it was that they'd be targeting, actually. But it does make sense that it was the one all the way up there. Yeah, that was just a blatant mistake for me, which is, pretty awkward.
Not a problem.
Jeez. Yeah. Now that is fair.
Take a breather.
Yeah. Oh, that is really awkward. You have like a level 60 and everyone's like at least 5 levels over the stage level, and I just really didn't think about it. How are we doing on enemies? Okay, we're good on enemies, we just need to finish the stage. Ignatz seems pretty good about taking care of all these enemies, honestly. Pretty good strong one for that. Revenge on him instead. What revenge, I wonder? Oh gosh, okay, that's a lot of enemies. Yeah, what do you do? Sword is better than axe. Sure is. Has the advantage. Let's just run and take out all these thieves. Yeah, how much time do we have? We have just under half. Okay. Shouldn't be an issue theoretically. Since you know what, since we're okay on enemies defeated as well, let's send these guys to go take out a couple of them specifically. And then we'll just run around and take on some ourselves, but... Yeah, it's tough. Maybe, because you have to consider there's the potential that maybe his father didn't pay them at some point. Different things happened. There's no real telling what happened, because just because the mercenaries doesn't mean... They could just be resentful because they are out of work, you know, kind of other things. But there's no way to tell. Maybe we'll find out in this paralogue, maybe it's just, again, them being resentful because they're out of work.
This is awful. We have to do something.
Alright, let's take control of... Is that Lauren's down there? No, it's Ignatz.
Still improving.
You are certainly competent, I will give you that.
It's weird how Ignatz keeps leaving like different colored... I don't know what that is. It almost looks like lava on the ground.
My turn to keep your eyes on me. Say,
I keep forgetting that that's doesn't do anything. Oh, that, maybe it gives him the ability to do that flurry of blows. I don't know. We really haven't messed around with fist weapons like at all this entire playthrough. I don't really have a particular preference for what type of weapon we use. I just haven't messed around with it. I forgot I gave everybody 2 A bars as well. But there we go. One shot him too. Oh my gosh. He even does like the bodybuilder pose.
your defeat.
There's one more thief. Is Lawrence fighting him currently? Oh. I was about to say, I was like, wait, what? Just gotta keep an eye on time. There's the leader. We'll just send Shez directly there. Might as well do the side quest, you know, doesn't hurt. Free money. Yeah, this stage, if I'd left all these characters at, like, I don't know, level 20, it actually, you know, could have been kind of painful. Because then we really probably would have been left with just Shez, and we might not have had the time. It would have come down to, like, every unit other than Shez to just kind of hold enemies until they got there. But overall, we still were, like, 2 to 3 minutes ahead of time. Not bad at all. Just one of those things that always sticks in the back of my mind. Oh. Yeah. Is he gonna even talk though? Sure did. The problem with these paralogues really is, why would we just bring the 4 of us though? Even if it's just post time skip, you would think we could have pulled Claude, a few members, if there's bandits in, you know, their territory.
We did it.
But maybe that's just me thinking things are a lot simpler than they are.
You all go on ahead.
It's always potentially something that's going on here. Final chapter, Field of Units. Maybe there's like an epilogue though too. Who knows? So maybe there's an entire, I don't know. Some epilogues you have to fight in, some you don't. I know in Fate you did. I don't think you did in some of the other ones though. Okay, so he did tell him some stuff. I wonder if he let him go afterwards, or if he just was like, here, tell me everything, and then he murdered him.
There you are, Lawrence.
Okay.
It took so long, I thought maybe that bandit
The
general
village is
got you.
safe, guarding the border. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which I will share with all of you now.
Did you uncover the reason for their grudge against your father?
Oh.
Indeed. As we suspected, they were once mercenaries in his
That
employ.
might have been those who slither in the dark,
Used in
maybe.
ways one might think, keeping
There's a
villages
chance maybe it was
safe,
him,
order and so on.
you know?
But one day, they were given a very strange
But
order by a supposed envoy of
maybe
my
that's
father.
why, because all the bandits were causing unrest.
They were told to threaten
Oh,
any
okay.
merchants heading toward Rhea
That's
and
not a
force
good
them to
idea
turn
either.
back.
That's not a good idea either.
That's a weird
Yeah.
one, all right.
The mercenaries felt the
They could have
same
scared him
way
off, but it might have
the
given
idea of
themselves a
raising
bad
their swords
reputation.
against unarmed merchants.
But then the monsters
Instead,
themselves aren't
they
going to have
decided
those...
chase a pack of wild monsters into the merchants'
Unless they went in
camps
and,
scare
you
them
know,
off.
also attack them out monsters.
Sounds like a good way to get everyone killed.
Oh, okay.
Indeed, you see the matter already. The plan worked
Oh,
at first.
no.
Then one day they caught wind that merchants were approaching and loosed monsters on them per the established method.
Why was Duke
An
Regan
ordinary group
there?
of merchants would have simply
That's
run
really
away and
unfortunate.
fled. But one among this group drew his sword and began to fight. This was Lord Godfrey, who at the time
If it
had
was in
attacked
fact his
Duke
dad
Regan.
that, you know,
He fought
did
valiantly,
it.
but ultimately in vain. Sadly, he perished along with the merchants he had hoped to protect.
It's not Lawrence's fault, but...
Merchants that included Raphael's parents.
And I'm glad
So
Raphael
former
recognizes
Duke
it.
Regan and Raphael's parents all died because of your dad, Lawrence?
So it would seem. I am terribly sorry, Raphael.
Oh, no.
Accept my apology in my father's stead.
Hey, knock it off.
I wouldn't really say it's Ignaz's parents' fault, too. There's no way they could have known that would happen.
My parents were meant to accompany Godfrey that day, but they had a scheduling conflict and recommended...
Yeah, I really think this could have been those that slither in the dark.
Which means...
Not you too, Ignatz. Look, everybody.
Yeah, it just...
Kids aren't responsible for what their parents
It doesn't
do.
sound like something he would do.
Lawrence, do we know for sure that the order came from
That's
your
also a
father?
possibility.
I was wondering the same thing. Your father was always protective of the nobility's reputation, and it seems strange he would do something so sneaky
Interesting.
and so anti-merchant besides.
Yeah,
Based on
I
what
mean...
the bandit said, I suspect it was someone from our house acting alone. By the time
Yeah.
my father realized
That's one of
what
those,
was
like,
happening,
he obviously had to for the sake of
along with
appearances, if
anyone
nothing
ever
else.
sussing out their true motives, only
The mercenaries,
and my
they had a
father
bad
chose
plan,
to
but
punish them.
the orders they were given, they're kind of like, well, what do we do? I'm surprised the mercenaries didn't run in and help, though. Like, scare them off with the monsters run in and help. Instead, they just kind of watched them die, though.
But I don't get how any of this has to do with you right now, Lawrence.
A feudal lord is responsible for
He can,
all that
but-
happens within their realm. Therefore, anything left
It doesn't
unresolved
mean
by
that
my
Lawrence
father
doesn't want to make
falls by
things right.
necessity to me. I would also like to pay appropriate reparations to both you and your
Ah.
family, as is fair and proper.
But I don't need anything from you. I get besides. I made my peace with what happened to my folks a long time
No,
ago.
Raphael's a good guy, though.
Can't change
Like I
that.
said, even if I'm not super invested in the character, because it is just muscle talk
Stir up
usually,
old painful memories.
Yes, but
there's just always something nice about a very straightforward, honest character.
I'll still take my reward for beating
Hmm.
the bandits, though. Meat party. Remember? You promised me the finest ham in all the
I
land.
just leave it be.
And just thinking about it's got me drooling.
Raphael's very clearly already moved on
this does
past
not
it.
sit right with me.
Even if you found out the truth years later, if it didn't bother him before, if anything, you know, it's difficult. One of those situations where I understand where Lawrence is coming from. Same with Ignatz, they want to make things right.
Keep at it. You'll just make
But-
Raphael upset.
Jeez.
Same goes for
but-
you, Ignatz.
Raphael's already moved on.
Right.
And even if you found out the truth now,
In that case, I shall arrange for the
it might
finest
not change
set of
things
the
for
world
him
has ever seen.
at the end of the day. Let's do a couple more
I
support
stake
conversations,
House
though.
Gloucester's very
We have another-
reputation
okay.
on it.
Let's see.
Now
Let's
that's
do
the
we
right
have
thing to do.
conversations with. We have it with Petra, right?
Still
Petra and Happy.
feels a little weird.
We'd already started with Happy's. I don't remember what Happy's conversation was about. I remember she had a conversation with Bernadetta about carnivorous plants. But, let's see. Hmm? Yep.
Oh, hey, Happy.
Love how they just skim over that, like,
I guess you
no
could say
one
that.
really knew. Like, you
Probably
could go
because
through
of
entire
Abyss.
playthroughs without knowing about
It's because I
Abyss.
was forced to live in Abyss all that time.
Oh, that's right. You were at Garrigan too.
Did we do anything
Wasn't
before
there for
Mercenary?
very long, but I never would have guessed
Yeah.
there was a whole town
That's the only other
hiding
thing
in
she's really
Bristol.
mentioned is living with her mother.
It was. I should know.
Foster.
What
home,
about you,
okay.
though? What did you do before hopping into the mercenary
It does say in her
business?
character description on the loading screen that she likes her
Well,
adopted mother.
I lived with my mom in a village deep in the mountains. Feels like forever ago
Interesting.
now. Oh, I call her my mom, but we weren't actually related.
She was her adopted
She was
mom.
more like a foster
I
parent.
don't really know.
So what was she
Foundling?
like?
Okay.
I don't suppose she was interested in magical research,
there you go.
was she?
I don't know about research, but yeah, she knew how to use magic.
Yeah.
Interesting. How did you two end up living together?
I don't
Especially
really know the
medieval times.
details. I can't
We would have to
remember
imagine that was
anything before
probably
I
a
was
pretty
with her.
common occurrence.
Apparently, I was a foundling. Sadly, finding a
I think,
starving
yeah,
and
something's
abandoned
clearly on her
child
mind.
isn't that
Not the time to
uncommon.
reminisce about our own
For her to take
experiences.
me in and raise me as her own, I think my
Yeah.
mom was someone special.
Wait, yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
I guess. She was probably a good person.
I wonder if she was chased out from
Something
another
on your
area.
mind, Happy?
I was just wondering why someone who could use magic was living in a remote mountain village.
You know,
Interesting.
someone told me one time that she wasn't actually from there, but when I asked her about it, she just gave
I don't
me
think it
this
upsets you
sad
as though I
smile.
think Just curious.
Seriously, Happy.
It'd be worrying, but I don't think I'd say that out loud.
Something to do with my mom?
You know?
No, it's nothing. Sorry to bring it up. I was just letting my imagination get the better of me. Sorry if I upset you. Really.
Yeah, I think every member of the Abyss does have them. Except maybe Balthus. Although, no, Balthus has all his gambling debts and all that stuff, and the fact that his stepmother wants to kill him.
I'm sure you had your reasons.
So, yeah.
If you ever feel like talking about
Constance
it,
has the
I'm
issues with
always
the day and
here.
night.
Thanks.
Happy has these. I'm trying to remember what all Yuri's deal was, because it's been a long time since I played Three Houses. And we really haven't talked a lot to Yuri, because in this particular path at least, Yuri was the last one we recruited.
Some berries on the way.
But we'll see.
I think I saw some a little bit ago.
What kind? After all my time in the mountains, I'm something of a berry expert myself.
Huh? Also, we went digging. That's not always a good idea. I don't remember.
Hey, Happy. You got a minute?
Maybe it would have been good to not only play the old Fire Emblem Warriors, but do a quick playthrough of a
I heard
path or
little
two of
about your
Three Houses, but that would have taken a
I was
long
wondering
time.
If you wouldn't mind telling me more about
Hmm.
it.
I see. So now you know, huh? Not the most pleasant story. What did you want to know?
Yeah, that's true.
I was thinking about how you asked all those questions about my mom. And I realized you were probably
Oh.
worried I went through the same thing as you.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Yeah.
You do have those mysterious
To be
powers.
fair, that's the
after all.
same thing with like Constance. Maybe that's why they get along so well too, aside from being in the same house. Although I don't know, you know, the whole day-night thing for Constance is technically a condition, or maybe she had it before the experiments and everything, but knowing all the experiments that went on in the Abyss,
Safe to say my
I
mom
think that's
wouldn't
also
put anything
still a
like that.
possibility.
I'm pretty sure I'd remember it if she did.
Yeah,
She didn't really
that's what I'd
talk
imagine
much,
so.
But I don't think she had a deceitful bone in her body. Her life was kind of just
That's nice of
what
her to
you'd
say.
expect out in a village like that. She did keep to herself, though. Thinking about it more, it's possible she was on the run from someone.
That does sound a little worrying.
We don't even use Awakening. We've used Awakening like 3 times on chess in this playthrough, I swear.
And unlike me,
We've only used Awakening like 5 or 6 times,
handle on your
and
powers.
usually it's just so we can immediately use A-bar again.
Nah, I don't really have full control
Okay.
of them yet. You never know when something might go wrong.
Thanks, Happy.
One day that sword might overtake me, and I'll turn into a monster. Like something out of a fairy tale.
That's fair though.
If that ever happens, I'll just sigh, and you'll come running.
If you gotta go because you went insane or crazy and started attacking everyone, you know? It's one of those, it'd be terrible for your friends, but would you rather go down by their hand or by some enemy that
But if it ever came to it,
has very
that's
malicious
how it had
intent?
to go. Mercenaries need to use every weapon and tactic at their disposal. Maybe flinging these powers around isn't such a good idea. But right now, I need to do whatever I can to stay alive.
I
Now, honestly,
feel
I'd
that
probably take a page
on a
out of your
personal
book
level.
and only use them as a last resort. I think
I think I've mentioned it a couple times, but I can play over like 20 instruments, unironically. Mostly woodwinds and brass instruments. I haven't picked up an instrument in years just because
I think that means I just gave up.
it hits a point where
You're way more amazing because you're
it's
still
difficult
trying.
not only to like
No doubt
keep
about it.
trying, but to find a place for it. Which is a little bit of a sad thing, I think, to say, but this one feels a little bit more
You're the
bittersweet than
amazing one,
wholesome, but still.
And you can't tell me otherwise.
don't even know
I
what
think
we're
they
talking about
very much
anymore.
tried to make the support
Anyway,
conversation so
is
like
that all?
a little bit
'Cause
uplifting
I feel like I need to
overall.
move.
Yeah, thanks for talking with me.
What did that
You
dream
going
mean?
to train?
Who knows?
Yep.
Yeah, I still don't know if we have Arvo anymore. When we were kind of looking through things, it did not seem like it was the
See you
case.
there.
We have full-on 3 Petra dialogues. We'll save that maybe.
Come to think of it,
What about good old Balthus? Who's he got to
that
talk to?
dream
Holst?
mean? Arval.
They are good friends, which kind of took me off guard. But personality-wise, I think it makes sense. I just didn't expect it. Yeah, I wonder if you can just insta-support conversation everyone with points in consecutive playthroughs. But again, we're also probably not going to have...
Fresh air.
Jeez.
Time to get out
We're
of
probably
here.
not going to have all these
Check this
characters
out.
on an Empire or Kingdom playthrough.
Sneaking off in the dead of night again, Balthus.
Is it too much to
Don't have
ask
to be like
you
that, host.
break every rule in the book?
Yeah, hey, host. Sure is a pleasant evening for a little stroll, yeah?
You
I just
can't
love how he gets
just
a little
stop
angry mark on
control.
his forehead every time we say
You
something
know
like
I'm
that.
going to have to write you up for this.
You have to do what you have to do, I guess. Or you could just come with me.
Yeah,
What do you say?
If you haven't
Doesn't that
noticed,
kind of
I'm
defeat
trying
the
to help
purpose
you.
of Balthus going out?
Very well. I'll join you.
Thought so. An upstanding guy like you would never. Hold
Oh.
on, back up a sec. You're actually coming?
Oops.
You?
That's right, Balthus. On one condition.
Oh,
I decide where
so
we're
Balthus was already excused to go out. You
Fine
just
by me. But
Give me a
what's
hard
your
time.
game here? You've never been one for bending the rules.
Make no mistake, I went through the proper
wrap him.
channels to get
Oh, okay.
and he's one of the 2 characters that uses fist weapons in our entire army. Oh,
Alright, your turn to share, pal.
interesting.
Hard as it is to believe, there are only so many tales about the storied king of grappling, and you've heard them all. Twice.
Very well. The truth is, Balthus,
Ah.
I'm gravely worried about Hilda.
Oh, she didn't give him the cold shoulder.
What's been going on?
Her behavior has been peculiar
Yeah.
as of late.
She seemed fine when I ran
I think
into
that's
her
just Hilda
today.
being a tsundere.
Sure you're not just imagining things?
No, something is off. I'm certain of it. She's
The
been
worried
giving me
big
cold
brother.
shoulder.
Have you tried talking to her?
Why would Balthus
The
know?
deal is,
Of course I did. But whenever I try to broach the subject, she just walks away. I don't remember doing anything that would have made her so upset.
Oh, don't
What
tell
has
him that.
happened to my darling little sister?
Yeah, I
Tell
was
me,
gonna say.
Balthus.
don't look at me. I'm as stumped as you.
Jeez.
Maybe she's just at that age where she wants some independence.
Yeah, for a guy who like held off the Almirans for a long time by himself.
Me, come to think
What
of
do you
it.
host?
Here I am pouring my heart out, and you have the gall to brag
He's gonna
about
get
my
beaten
sweet
up.
sister's attentions.
Oh, never mind.
Unbelievable.
You really lose your cool when it comes to Hilda, you know
Jeez.
that? Let it be known that on this
That's
day,
really funny.
the mighty
I am
host
interested
of
to see what happens.
Wester
The issue is to grind that out.
true colors.
I'm definitely gonna save as you do on the new play save on another file. But to get these conversations between people all the way up,
On with her, pal.
you probably just have to pair them up, or at least have them on the same battlefield and just grind out a few more fights. Because it's not like you can just give them gifts. Let's hop into another paralogue. I don't know how many more we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 more? Okay. Let's see. 33, 39, 42, 45. 33 is lowest. So it's Marianne and Hilda. This one shouldn't be too bad. Both of them should be a decent level. It's okay, Marianne. We don't mind helping you. Yeah, we've seen the Marianne
I'm sorry
Hilda
to
conversation where she tried to help Hilda organizing the equipment.
responsibility, and I'm
Same.
handling it myself.
Honestly, same.
It's all good. You clearly needed
It's
the
one of
help.
those, like, I know where everything is in my room, but if you look at my room,
Keeping your equipment in order.
sure doesn't seem like it.
I'm honestly terrible at this
Ooh.
kind of thing. You should see the state my room is in. The more I try to get organized, the more chaos.
With how
seems to
much they
come into
move,
my
though, it makes me wonder, like, they have these wooden buildings and such in their camp.
Look out!
I mean, don't be like that, Marianne.
Are you alright?
But
This is terrible.
you'd imagine they live in, like, tents and such most of the time, not these big wooden buildings. What are they gonna do?
Let's keep
Reset?
going.
Like, there's cement there, I think, on the bottom, too. What are you gonna do? Reset that every time you make a new camp?
You shouldn't have any more to do with me. It won't end well.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Marianne, we're supposed to be leaving on our scouting mission soon. What are you doing?
Yeah, Hilda's a good friend, though.
Sorry, I was trying to organize my
One of the most
squad's
wholesome
positions
friendships.
and
I think the Host and
so
Balthus
that
friendship is actually pretty funny.
spun out of
But the
control.
Hilda Marianne friendship so far in this route has been, and always has been, really, really
Just ask me for help
wholesome.
instead of trying to do it all yourself. Yes, I'm sorry.
Mm.
Why don't we just head out on that mission?
You don't have to say that out
Finish
loud.
this later.
You don't have to say that out loud either, Shiz.
Don't worry about it. I can handle a little scouting mission on my own. But
We'll do it for Marianne,
I think
yeah.
cleaning up this mess is more important. You'll help her, right?
Made her a little bit happier.
Marianne really isn't good at this sort of thing.
You don't say.
It's okay.
Just make sure you stay with her
Hi.
until it's done.
Well, these three are on a
Promise me,
fight, so I
okay?
wonder if something happens on our scouting mission.
For Marianne? anything.
Good, because
Probably.
I'm dead serious about not
Huh.
leaving her alone with this. I'm so
Wonder how
sorry.
long it took.
Anyway, I've got some scouting to do.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this stuff sorted.
Oh no, so
First
she just
job will be
divided them
organizing
too
everything
much.
by type.
Okay.
Whoa, hold on. I thought we were
Yeah.
grouping all of the timbers.
You
by
make it
rank.
too organized, then you've got like 20 piles.
Yes, I was doing that, but then I noticed some of yours weren't exactly the same, so I divided them up.
Did you trip?
further.
Did we
Look,
trip?
Just try to keep everything simple.
Oh
3
no.
piles. One for long stuff, one for short stuff, and one for all the
Oh,
medium-ish
no.
stuff in between.
I see. In that case, I'll set this right.
No, it's okay, Marianne.
You've got to be kidding me. Ow.
Yeah.
Again. Looks like we're back to square one.
Well, it was a scouting mission, you know?
I'm so
Was it just a
sorry.
quick look-see while she's on like her wyvern, or?
Just go and let me handle the rest myself.
Makes me wonder.
No can do. I promised Hilda I'd stay here until the job was done. Speaking of which,
should be
where
fine.
is she?
Yes, it has been a while, hasn't it?
You worried about her?
I am actually.
That's actually something I say in real life a lot.
Go check on her.
Kind of funny. Okay, so any allies are routed.
This
So,
pilot stuff
okay,
isn't
she's
going
just in the
anywhere.
middle here.
And besides,
Well, hopefully there aren't any
far
archers.
more important.
Hey, when you're right.
But again, I mean, everyone's like over level 40 here, I'm pretty sure. This time for sure, actually. And the enemies are level 33, I think. Kind of surprised the highest level paralogue was Lysithea's. But since we'd invested in Lysithia's, that's not actually a huge issue. I didn't check what enemies. 1,800 enemies, 15 minutes. So this is a pretty lengthy paralogue in terms of battle length. So we're probably just going to chunk through every enemy we see. Don't let Hilda be routed. Can we immediately reach her? We can't. Okay.
It's just as I feared. Hilda,
It doesn't really have anything to do with her, but yeah. Poor Marianne thinks that it's all her fault. Interesting. But if this is anything like the last one that we just did with Shamir, then there may not actually be 1,800 enemies immediately on the map, per se. So much as, potentially, you know, more and more enemies will spawn in groups. So we probably still want to take out any enemies we can as we go, but I don't know. We'll just see. I really do wonder, though. I mean, I could look it up again, but that's... I don't know. Not super concerned about recruiting every single character, you know? I like to, but I also really don't like looking up spoilers and such. My first few playthroughs, unless I get really stumped on a game, I would much prefer to kind of do things on my own. See what I can do. I have no idea how to get to Hilda. This is completely blocked off. This is blocked off. I would have thought taking this fort sees the riverside. Oh, never mind, we need to take it. I was like, what? I think we just went out the wrong way, though. Okay, they did lock us out this way, never mind. Interesting. I mean, if we take too long, in theory, Hilda would go down, but Hilda's also level... yeah, she's still level 46, she'll be fine. I'm sure in missions like these, they have them slowly lose health, like at a percentage no matter what, so you can't just take forever. But there weren't any archers over there, so I don't think she's in too much danger. That would just be cruel, though, if they just put a bunch of archers in there with her. I guess, to be fair, she hasn't been a Wyvern Knight or on a mount, flying mount the entire time we played. But it would still be a little messed up. I think I just saw an arrow saying we need to go through this particular path. How do we get into this fort? This is gated off. Okay. So... oh, okay. I was like, why isn't this gate opening? This is one of those stages, too, that makes me feel like it would be a lot more of a rush if we were playing in hard mode. But since we're just in normal, and we're not in classic mode, it's not the biggest of issues. I mean, if we played classic mode and anyone died, we'd just restart, you know? That's the classic old school Fire Emblem strat. Someone dies and you didn't want them to die, it just means redo the whole stage. That's why I don't like doing classic mode in these games the first try through. Because clearly, Actually, characters dying in the mission, aside from like when Dorothy died and such, when we were supposed to be rescuing and we just failed, hasn't actually been a huge issue. But it doesn't mean I want to put that at risk, you know? Especially if we were to do a higher difficulty. Maybe for like a challenge run if we ever did that on this game, but I feel like a challenge run would just evolve into making sure everybody's paired up, everybody's safe. You maybe don't worry too much about S ranks because you're just trying to make sure everything's okay. Just that type of thing. I think that classic mode just genuinely, it's fun for a challenge, but when it forces classic mode on you, like some of the older school games, I think it just makes it slightly less fun. You have to be more careful, which is one thing, you know, more strategy and such, which these games do, you know, obviously involve strategy to some extent, but I think it just also makes it like, oh, you know, I can just still fumble through things, but this unit died and it just means we restart. You know, Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, for some of the harder modes, you basically just have the classic, I'm gonna grind in the Colosseum for a really long time on certain stages until the units are super overpowered, and if we mess up, might have to restart like a 30-45 minute grind. Because seriously, the Colosseum was... Ugh. I had bad memories of Colosseum grinding on high difficulty levels. There you go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lysithea's power here. The Cursed Expulsion. Enemy sent flying. Yeah. Like, I think that's what works really well with this cheap, because we still have one of the beginner on a lot of characters, actually. We have one endgame, like, skill weapon art, and then we have one, like, super early game, because it costs less. You know, the early game one here only costs 6, but I think both of our skills send them flying, and it's synergized really well with Lysithea's skill. Makes me wonder what we're going to do in following paths, because I don't remember what anyone else's skill really does. Huh? Yeah. I think Marianne just likes to blame herself at some point for... Not likes, you know, but she blames herself for everything. But here we'll go ahead and take these out. Yeah, I don't know if it's because our Hilda's so much higher than the actual suggested level. She's not really doing a whole lot of damage here, but she's not taking any damage. So... But the only characters I really leveled in preparation for these epilogues were the ones from the Ignatz or Raphael Lawrence one. We had to level them a bit. And the Ashen Wolves. Because the Ashen... I mean, half the Ashen Wolves are already, like, level 35 or so, but... It was one of those just in case type of things. Right, we're sitting at 1,400 enemies. There's still the entire bottom part of the map, though, so I think we'll be okay. Yeah, that's true. Reach the evacuation point. Okay. We still need to fight quite a few more enemies. Okay. But they're gonna head to the evacuation point. We need to take out as many enemies as we can, I think.
Well, someone's perked up.
Beat the paladin. Okay. Just do this real quick. Should not be an issue. Yeah, you have no idea how happy I am to realize that I can just hit minus and tell how many more enemies we need. Had no idea this entire time. It was just, like right now we're, what is that, 280 off? 270 off? Why can't I, oh, there we go. So we have to reach the evacuation one. Oh, it looks like we have to run through this way anyways because of the way the paths are blocked off, so. Didn't even think about that. That does make sense though, if you could just go around and, you know, leave. Would kind of defeat the purpose of them sending in reinforcements. I just like using the A ability for this. It's not necessary, because our top weapon skill also does it very well. But A-bar should pretty much get rid of any enemy in the area, you know. Why is Hilda going to the bottom path? Evacuation. I mean, does it have to be Hilda specifically? It does say Hilda, so probably, I'd imagine, but... Yeah. That should open these gates.
Marianne seems different now that we've joined up with you, don't you think?
Yeah, Miriam was level 43. We used her as backup for a while.
I think this is the real Marianne.
I forgot that I gave Marianne a heal. You know how useful that would have been during the Dorothy escort mission? I didn't even know healing was a weapon skill because I hadn't looked. Alright, we're good. In that case, let's just run Hilda all the way over to the evacuation point. So I'd have to imagine it does have to be Hilda specifically, based on what it says. Yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of paralogues. My issue is if we don't do all these paralogues and such, I don't know if it will actually... Oh, is that it? Time? Oh, we're way good on time. Yeah, I don't know if we clear the end game, if it does, again, go into like an epilogue and we could do other things. Or if it just instantly, you know, ends it and goes to the next battle. Jeez. Really, one of those things that's kind of hard to tell. Ingrid is probably going to be... I mean, she's definitely in the Kingdom Path. We probably won't see much of Ingrid, though, in terms of playability until we do our Kingdom Path. I still don't know if we're going to do Empire or Kingdom. I'm probably going to decide as we start the next stream, honestly. I was thinking Empire for most of the time, though, so that's likely what we'll do. But the reason I was thinking Empire was because in Three Houses, Empire was probably the more unique one. Because both of the other paths involved fighting the other two paths, of course, but, like, it felt like the Empire was the instigator, so it was, like, instigator versus the people defending. Whereas, like, here, we ended up fighting the Kingdom last, but we fought both the other kingdoms. So if we played the Kingdom, it's probably you start fending off the Empire, then you start fending off the Alliance. Same thing, you know? We just also probably have, like, the Knights of Saros. Like, I'd imagine if Catherine is playable, she's probably only playable in the Knights. I really can't imagine her being playable in the Empire path. Just does not seem likely to me. Here we go. Alright, so 4 more paralogues, I think, to go. Not bad.
I won't let myself stop here.
I was right, though. If we'd done all this in last stream, we would have been streaming for like 11 hours or something. Yeah, fair enough. All these paralogues are really us. Does she have an extra just unlucky rest? All these paralogues are us just though running off on our own with a few people and fighting that we probably shouldn't be doing.
This was going to be one of those quick in and out kind of things.
Yeah, we don't need to
We're
pry.
lucky we got out of there alive.
So, Marianne, what were
There
you
you go.
trying to say before about your crest?
Yeah, something about how people shouldn't get involved with you.
Oh,
Okay.
you know what? Forget it.
Forget it.
She doesn't have to talk about it if she doesn't want to. All I care about is that
Yeah.
Marianne keeps smiling. Well, I suppose I do feel a bit more confident now.
Or without, you know, anyone else, but yeah, that's fair.
It proves things can go well even if I happen to be there.
Oh, is she supposed to... I wasn't paying attention. Maybe she was her assigned partner.
Silly. I mean, the only reason I got in trouble in the
No.
first place is because I went
No.
there without you.
The lesson here is that when you two are supposed to do something together, actually do it together.
Just say yes and just move on.
Alright.
Or Hilda could just have insight into it.
Did you finish that little cleaning project?
Cleaning project?
Blame Hilda.
Congratulations for Marianne's squad. Did you finish?
Right. That.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's a big fat no.
Okay, she took it in a good way, but...
Marianne was worried, so we stopped
Oh
what
my
we were
gosh.
doing and came to find you.
I mean, that isn't a lie. Yeah.
So if you think about it, you're actually the reason our cleaning didn't get done.
Oh, there we go.
Worried
If
about
we'd
me?
blamed ourselves, maybe she wouldn't have offered to do it.
Really? Once I imagined the worst, I couldn't get it out of my head.
And it turns out the truth wasn't too far off.
There you go.
Oh, I'm glad you care. You know what? Don't even worry about organizing those supplies. I'll take care of it for you.
Okay.
You sure?
You bet.
Wait, what?
I mean, it's not like I enjoy that kind of work, but I'm actually pretty good at it. That's a huge weight off
Yeah.
my mind. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, guess that about ties everything up.
Oh, but you
I mean, I
still
didn't
have
want
help.
to, but
I'm just doing Marianne's
all supplies are full.
Plus, you promised, remember?
Might as well collect them. Does not hurt to collect all the extra supplies. It's free stuff.
Fine.
Thank you both. I mean it.
I think they actually did really time things well, because I did a bunch of extra stages, like I said, in between streams. Not a crazy amount, but like a few. Get a few levels in between. But when you consider I wasn't really getting that much XP for them, and a lot of times the gold wasn't really worth it, I think if we'd done all the paralogues as we went along, they actually did time things pretty well. In terms of like having enough experience for everything. Like, again, I just think a lot of this stuff was really well thought out. But we have 4 paralogues left. A few more support conversations. Let's just do... We're actually working through them pretty fast. We have our Petra Shez one, which is all 3. And then Marianne Bernadetta. And then whatever other ones we earn. It looks like it's just 1 here. Let's do this one. Then we have the full Shez Petra one. Why does that sound like she burped? It's 2 really shy characters. But I've really been thinking about what characters from each path would be recruitable no matter what. Or if they'll be recruitable in other paths. It's like when you're on the Empire, I just have a hard time seeing any of the Knights being recruitable. Like, we recruited Ash here, but it's the Empire versus the Knights. I really, that one does have me stumped. When we're on the Knights, though, I could very much see Dorothy also coming over. From the Empire, I mean... All of the Knight-like characters, like, I don't think Ferdinand's gonna leave the Empire in this timeline. Same thing with, like, Dedue, all those similar types of characters. Obviously, the main retainers aren't gonna leave their friends' side. But that does seem to be the trend. Is that, like, very much patriotic, the nobles aren't probably gonna change side. But that does make me think, maybe Dorothy is a character that's playable in all 3 paths. I don't know. I think Lysithea was recruitable in every path in 3 houses. But I have a hard time seeing that being the case here. Just because they've actually tied in so much of House Ordelia way more than it was in 3 houses. But we'll see. Marianne, though, I mean, if they let Bernadetta come over, maybe Marianne would. Really just depends. Like, I'm trying to remember different paths. I know you could recruit a drastically different number of people in each of the 3 houses' paths. Like, I think the most was like over 40 and the least was like just low 30s. Honestly, though, I also sleep past noon a lot.
I'm sorry. I can't put it into words very well.
Well, it's good that they could find another person to confide into.
I wish I could have seen it.
I don't remember if Bernadetta really had a whole lot of people like she did in the Empire. But Marianne really only, it feels like, confides to Hilda.
Listen to me. I'm sorry for going on
Yeah, there you go.
as I did.
It's like that meme, like, I don't ever talk to anyone that I don't know very well.
Actually,
But like with my friends, I'll chatter so much that they get a little bit annoyed with me.
I guess. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been able to talk this much with someone. I'm rather
Yeah,
awkward speaking
sure
about
Miriam was like
people
that.
myself. So this has been somewhat strange for me as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I was thinking
Doll.
it might be nice if we could
She
chat
really
again
liked carnivorous
sometime.
planes.
What do you think? That would be delightful.
Huh.
Aw, thanks, Marianne. I gotta think of
I
lots
don't know.
of things to talk about for next time.
Plus, I think like both of them are just good listeners, I'd imagine.
Interesting books, the doll I'm
Yeah.
knitting, carnivorous
Yeah, we're down to just
plants.
one more support conversation. That did take, to be fair, we're at an hour and 20 minutes in the stream. So, minus the paralogues, we've already spent like a solid 30 minutes probably, I'd imagine at least, maybe 20, 25, just doing support conversations. So, yeah, took a while. Yeah, 39, 42, 43, so the Claude one, coming clean. Urgent report that Deirdre was under the, okay, the Elmiran Navy. I mean, this is a paralogue from before we made an alliance with the Elmirans, I'd imagine. Rest up and prepare for the next battle. We did level Claude up pretty high just because that one stage where we got to fight with the 3 leaders. I thought that was really cool. Because when in 3 houses, the answer is never, but when in 3 houses did you ever get to control Edelgard Dimitri? Actually, no, you did, I guess, to be fair, at the very beginning. So maybe, but you get what I mean, like, post-time skip.
Well, this is
Could never have happened.
You're not usually the one suggesting we take time off.
That's because there's been too much to do lately.
Mhm.
I haven't had the chance to showcase my natural
I'm a little bit surprised Judith hasn't been playable.
Come on, I don't think there's a
It does seem like they didn't want to make, even like the characters that use the same weapons and stuff, they tried to very much change up their movesets.
Consider it.
Your Majesty, an urgent message has
Yeah, I
arrived
don't think
from
they could be.
Persia.
But,
Uh-oh. This can't be good.
The
okay, so it's right after we beat them at
Elmiran
Fodlan's Throat.
Navy.
Or was it something? It was
Calling
something
for any
Throat.
aid we can provide.
Yeah.
What?
But, interesting.
Elmira again?
After the defeat they
Yeah,
just
maybe.
suffered at the throat? No. It must be someone else.
I agree.
Oh, so you're gonna send your own king out by themselves. That's a great idea.
Either way, they've got to have a pretty sizable force if they can attack an entire
Oh,
city.
do we actually? It'd be hilarious if we didn't think we could play Judith and we got Judith when we,
Who do we have?
you know, did a paralogue.
We can't spare much at the moment. To be honest, we're always a bit undermanned. Still, we
But
might
yeah,
be able to save
anyway,
some
back to like
people
Echo
from
Fighters and such. I think they've done a good
starvation.
job of not making them too repetitive.
But you're the leader of the entire army.
Well aware of that, thanks. But as luck would have it, we've got a bit of time before. Besides, Judith and I know the terrain, which means we've got the best chance at ending things quickly.
Going back to Deirdre
Oh,
will be a
okay.
stroll in the park for the two of us.
Like you,
Still, I
literally.
wouldn't say
Actually.
no to a seasoned mercenary tagging along.
Jess is like, I really didn't want to go, so I was suggesting other people. Okay, Judith, fair enough.
Yeah, I've already got her doing something else. I was thinking someone more like
Feel
you.
like she respects Judith more than she respects Claude.
And here I was looking forward to a little time off.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, Judith is just any defense
The
point you
king
can't
himself
figure
is making the time.
Is this the
How
defense
about you
point?
buck
She's
up
level
and do the
36.
same?
That makes sense. So she's the level. Yeah, so we don't get a players there. That's fine.
Glad that's settled.
Is she a Myrmidon? Swordmaster, maybe? I didn't know if it was ever directly mentioned what weapon Judith actually used. I had no idea. Alright, what do we got? 1,200 enemies, 10 minutes. Not too bad. They were pirates, just using their name. Fair enough. I mean... Another mission that shouldn't be too bad, though.
Yep, those are pirates,
Jeez.
all right. They sure made a
This is
mess
one of those, though, like... I'm sure it'd terrify ordinary citizens to some extent. But it's funny us knowing exactly what Elmirans are like, just being like, these aren't Elmirans.
Come on and hand over all your valuables. If you don't fancy getting
But it's one of those, like, yeah, it'd probably be terrifying as a normal citizen just hearing that.
Still keeping up the act,
Because you probably don't have any idea for sure.
what these sea
Yeah, our
dogs
claw should be decently strong.
for in sheer numbers.
The weapons in this game, I did realize, like, when you unlock their potential or whatever it is, it's very similar to what you do with signature weapons in the original Fire Emblem Warriors. Where, like, yeah, once you unlocked it, Claude's weapon went up very, very high in power. Because Failnaught, when we first got it, was not very strong. The same with Hilda's Axe. But then they actually started to match some of the higher ups. And I'm sure you could technically get higher, what's it, might, mount, out of the
Never work.
weapons.
A sad
If you were to
fate
maybe
for
go
most.
for a little bit more out of it.
I thought all Almighty
But I
was
don't think it's exactly necessary.
beasts.
Where's the last pirate? Is it in the bay? Oh. You know what? We never use all 3 Shadow Steps. We're just gonna warp over there. Because you never know. Oh, this pirate wasn't doing anything to Judith. Jeez.
Take a breather.
They are pirates. I feel like the pirate class hasn't been used a whole lot in Fire Emblem actually recently. 'Cause I remember in Marth's story, you could... I think the pirates could literally cross water and they were like axe units. If memory serves. Yeah, I'd imagine so. Have Claude go take care of these
Let's
ones.
knuckle down and put them in their place.
Right, defeat the pillaging pirates. Okay.
Your Majesty, pirates are raiding the harbor
Not too bad of a
storehouses and
stage,
plundering
like...
the goods inside.
We are, at the very least, Shez will always be overpowered for these paralogues for right now. Makes you wonder how hard they would have been if we'd actually done them as they came in, but I was just so excited to continue the story that I didn't want to just continually be doing paralogues and support conversations. And as a consequence, we didn't go through them as early as we could have, but... eh.
Bring it down.
Shall we begin?
Yeah. Nadir also seems to be a bit of an exception. You have to consider, if you pick out one person, you could also pick out, like, you know, the other prince that tried attacking us twice in a couple years, threw his people to the wayside, stuff like that.
We should start siding with his
But that's also part of the reason I think Claude wants to dissolve the Church of Saros, is they directly forbid any kind of, like, interaction. I think it's been mentioned with outside kingdoms. It's caused issues for Dimitri. I don't know how much issues it's caused for Edelgard. And it's also caused issues for the Federation/Alliance with the, you know, Almirans. But I don't remember what the name was, but I have an idea we'll have to deal with them as well. Which makes me wonder if there's going to be something similar in the Empire route as well. Because clearly, you know, it's an issue. yeah, with only 2 of us, kind of annoying. Can I not get through this wall? Is it blocked off, or am I just an idiot? I don't see a way into this fort. Kinda dare. Perfect. Yeah. Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Kinda just shows up out of nowhere sometimes, though, doesn't he? Where did Claude go? We need him. Ah, crud. Okay. Claude. Where is he? Oh, why is he over here? Okay. We'll have Claude defend this base real quick for a bit. We're gonna go up and defeat... Can I not get it? You know what? Forget it. I'm gonna warp over here. We're using our warps a little bit willy-nilly here. I don't know how long the stage is. It only had a 10-minute time limit, which makes me think it's not as long as the other paralogues. But I can go all the way back here, was my thought, and work my way back. How many enemies are we at? 2/3 of the way there? Okay. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Judith, I really don't think is going to have an issue with any of these enemies. She is a Myrmidon. She's actually at their level. But she is a Myrmidon into a bunch of axe-wielding Wyvern Riders, so... Don't think it's actually an issue. Or how strong do you think Claude would be as a level 55? He's really not doing anything. Interesting. Clearly we have the entire upper half of the map, though. Alright, we gotta get rid of these pirates over here. I think maybe we have to go through the upper path, then. To me, it looks like those paths are connected. But maybe there just wasn't a path in. Which is awkward. Shez also has full... Once I pick up this, yeah. Maybe it would have been faster to bring Claude over here, but it's fine. Ooh, Nadir was actually taking some damage here. Interesting. Given that nobody here seems to have a bow, a sword, or a lance, you know? It does seem to all be axe wielders. Although, was Nadir an axe wielder? Let me take a look at him. Yeah, he was. Ooh, another one. Yep. I'm glad that Nadir likes Claude, though. I mean, apparently he is a former Almyran prince. I really didn't remember that, but instead, I mean, it's been a long time since I played Three Houses. I am glad we went through the Old Warriors, because it's given us a really cool, like, note of comparison. I'm just gonna use this here. Hopefully we don't have to teleport back, but we currently have Claude guarding one of the bases back here. So if they try to pull a back attack on us, we can just use Claude then, you know? Yeah. Imagine impersonating, though, something like that. You know, like just members of a certain military, and then one of their highest up, like most legendary soldiers shows up. That would be pretty dang awkward, honestly.
Well, he's certainly enjoying himself. I'd better dig deep or he's gonna steal.
Surely we're close on enemies, right? Another 1,000. Ooh, she's getting a little bit suspicious. Yeah, but is that... Yeah, I was gonna say. Judith is a little bit too sharp for that kind of an excuse to work.
Lester fought against Elmira for years, so I've grown to know them. That's all.
You must think I'm pretty dim if you expect me to believe.
Have you?
It was worth a shot, but all right, I get it. Let's talk.
Well, I think a lot of us knew. To be fair, I don't remember exactly when this paralogue is. Clearly, it's after we'd already made peace with Elmira, already defeated Shahid and such, but...
I've been intending to for a while now. She's not the type you can hide things from for very long anyway.
Jeez. I mean, I am not a morning person either. There we go. Yeah, so it's a good thing we defeated enemies on the way, because that was the end of the stage. Looks like, for the most part, these paralogues are giving us high-level battalions. So maybe it would have been good to do them as we went, but I don't think the battalions... They obviously make a difference. I just don't know if they make enough of a difference that I'm like, oh, I'm super sad I didn't do them. You know? There you go. Maybe, yeah. Thanks, Nadir. There were literally 3 of us, yeah.
Drew and the harbor are both safe now.
We'd have been surprised if Nadir didn't show up.
Jeez.
You've got
That's a little bit harsh.
If third-rate crooks like that are giving you trouble.
In our defense, we'd have been fine if we could have brought a few more soldiers along.
I don't know, kiddo. You're good at the whole confidence side of things, but not so hot when it comes to actually sealing the deal.
A man who calls himself Nadir the Undefeated says,
Tell him you're a former prince.
That's rich.
Cut it out, you two.
Is he actually going to tell her though, or is this going to be another excuse? Because Claude has a lot of schemes.
You clearly know each other better than you're letting on.
Yeah.
Say, kiddo, maybe now's the time to, you know.
Ah, right. Actually, Judith,
How old is Judith if she knew Lady Tiana? Or is Lady Tiana just here for a little bit?
I'm waiting.
My mother is an
I don't remember. I do remember though specifically like at the end of his path. Yeah. At the end of his path though he had to kind of, you know, figure everything out and said he had to go to another land to figure things out. But Elmira I don't remember being a super huge plot point in Three Houses. So it's kind of cool that they're elaborating on this.
So that makes you an Almiran prince?
I think we knew.
I am.
Claim your mind is blown. Yeah.
Well, this certainly isn't something
Even without being told.
here today.
You know?
Still, I imagine it's not easy to bring up. So what's your deal? You don't seem surprised by this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never heard
We tried to get him
anything
surrender to, and she
Claude,
said no.
But I thought as much. I figured it out right around the time we fought Shahid.
Especially again in medieval times, someone who's just such a warmonger.
Your brother.
Yeah, he
Different
was,
mothers,
but
yeah, he was my older brother.
oh yeah.
I didn't want to fight him. I really didn't. But
Interesting.
for the sake of both Fodlan and Almira, he had to be dealt with.
Your brother thought he was doing right by Almira, in his own way. There's always
I don't know. I think he's pretty happy being in the
Everyone
Federation, but
fighting over the right of succession. But that
yeah, he's
man
already a
was
king. Does he really need to go back and seize the throne of another land?
just consumed him.
So does this mean my little Claude is going to return to Almira and seize the throne?
I mean, if
one
nothing
day?
else, it's convenient.
I don't know.
I mean, now that
Right
his
now,
brother's no
I'm more
longer trying to
concerned about my
relentlessly
duties as
attack.
King of the Federation. Eventually, I plan to tell everyone about where I came from. But for now,
Yeah.
keep it to yourself. I don't want to make things more complicated than they need to be.
I won't tell a soul so long as you answer.
Makes me wonder though. So his father's the king of Elmira, but was his mother Lady Tiana initially from Vodland?
Either as the leader of the alliance or as king.
Yeah, it would be a terrible blow to the Federation if he just gave up and went to Elmira, you know?
So, do you
Would be
trust me?
pretty devastating.
I do, little
Because he's their
Claude,
king, you
or
know?
Your
So
Majesty.
the Ashen Wolves, the Mercenaries.
Just don't let me down.
I mean, this one involves 2 of our highest level units.
Thanks.
Let's do the Ashen Wolves. This is the one I was most worried about. If we have a really hard time with it, we can just level them up. But if we can only bring in 4 units, and we're forced to use these 4 specifically, we can definitely clear it, we just might not get an S rank. I'm sure you are. They did it at night though, so Constance has more confidence.
Would you bring the 5 of us together?
Real
for,
happy.
Yuri? We beating someone up? Because I'm always ready for that kind
Jeez.
of thing.
It is always the same with you, Balthus. How can you possibly be so uncouth in my presence? Not to mention our dear frail Happy here. Stop thinking with your fists and use your brain.
Who you calling frail, Coco?
Dude, he was the last one to join us, so
Happy.
I don't know if I'd say he was busy.
We've been topside for a while, and you guys haven't changed a bit. Do you really think I'd call you out here just to lay a beating into someone?
I just, it just,
We're too busy. I've got a favor to ask of you all. Oh, and you.
I know it's not gonna change anything, but like, it's so funny. Oh, absolutely. Some old friends.
Nope. Sounds
Okay.
like you've got something nefarious cooking. Plus, I'm busy anyway.
I just can't help myself half the time. If it's someone like super timid, like if Marianne were to ask us something like that, I wouldn't tell her no,
The only
because
thing
I'd feel bad.
is helping people in need.
But like,
Turns out some old friends are in trouble, and we're about the only
Just like,
people in
yeah.
the world who would ever think to help them.
By old friends, do you mean
Yeah.
from Abyss? The ones who followed us?
Yeah.
Oh, look at the brain on Balthus. Exactly so. They've been caught up in some kind of
The fact that
struggle
she just
in
says that
our
right
games
in front of him too.
In that case, count me in.
You should know better than to take Yuri at face
Yeah.
value. No doubt much of what he said is true, but I am certain there is another angle to it as
The
well.
shady
one
lady.
which benefits himself.
Oh my
I take care
gosh.
of my own. That's all.
I think
That's how you know they're friends, though, I feel.
From Abyss who need help, right? So let's quit
You're
bickering and go help already.
Good point.
That's
There's
how
no
you know
time
you're
for anyone
friends.
to be arguing with the shady lady here.
How dare you! I am not the one who is constantly scheming at one thing or the other.
Yuri Bird, Coco.
I'm always smart. What do you mean?
Hey, save some of that fire for the fighting.
Now, you can air all your grievances at the bad guy.
Jeez.
Exactly. You're actually smart sometimes, friend.
What thing?
Sometimes. I'm always saying
Oh.
smart stuff.
Huh? Oh, right.
Did he do
Let's
something
go
like
with
this?
That doesn't help.
Don't worry about it. Anyway, Yuri, it's
Is he gonna
time
give a
for the
speech?
thing. You know,
Oh, he just says,
the
"Let's
thing
do this,
to get
wolves."
us
Okay.
fired up before we roll out. He used to do it in Abyss all the
To be
time.
fair, I mean, it's like what, Blue Lions,
Doesn't
Black
exist
Eagles,
anymore.
Ashen Wolves, and
But if
Golden
it means we
Deer.
can finally
Ashen
get
Wolves
going,
does sound like the coolest.
let's do
I don't
this,
know why.
wolves.
So are these the friends we're trying to rescue? Rogue. Oh, okay, yeah, no, we just don't control one. Who's the weakest of them here? I put Lysithea's hold too. The weakest here is probably Balthus or Yuri. So we'll try switching out Balthus because we've already done 2 paralogues of Balthus. So I don't necessarily want to take out Yuri here. I forgot to check. Okay, 15 minutes, 1,500 enemies. No biggie. When they give you that much time to do it, like, not really an issue in theory. The biggest issue here, I think, potentially, is if one of their allies goes down.
To get there, we'll need to take these strongholds.
Nothing too shady, they say, and it's a rogue. Good old rogues. Reminds me back to the days. I never really got into retail, but back when I was, you know, because I've kind of bounced from job to job just because COVID's really affected everything in the world, finding consistent work. So I've had to work odd jobs every here and now and then while I'm doing college and such, since COVID really hit. But, what was I about to say? Odd jobs. Wow, now I feel really stupid. I've already forgot what I was going to say. That's really awkward. Odd jobs.
There were plenty of folks with bounties on their heads in Abyss.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. I swear I'm not. I'm fine. I'm not dying or anything. I'm having a stroke. So I bounced from odd jobs, and so one of the games I was able to play was World of Warcraft Classic, because it had a monthly subscription, but it wasn't super bad at the time. Like, same thing as now. I had some money saved up, so as long as it wasn't like, and it was, but I didn't play it. Like, it was weird because I didn't really, I don't want to say I enjoyed the game because it was just one of those games that it was what my friends were playing, and they were like super into the raiding scene and such, so I played it with them. Happy side, a giant monster. Jeez. But rogues, I guess is what I was coming back to. Is I used to get ganked by rogues all the time, and it made me really sad. I don't know why it took me so long to tell that story, but you know. Oh, the gate's open. We should probably get to their friends ASAP if we can. I don't know how hurt their the rogues are, but that rogue at the top lost health really fast to the point that I was a little bit concerned about it.
Follow the path to the monsters now, yeah?
Well, let's not accidentally fail paralogue again because we weren't just paying attention. Where's the last mysterious mage? Oh. There we go.
Still, do you think
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really matter, I guess, who we brought, since we're probably just going to use Shez this entire time. 15 minutes to defeat 1,500 enemies, so... We should go take care of the giant crawler then. Perfect. You can just use A bar on this giant crawler too. I don't think we've seen one of these before in particular, actually. There's been a good number of giant ones, like they slightly changed the name or something and then it's an entirely new achievement. But I seriously don't think we've seen a quote-unquote giant crawler before. Let's just take it out. It's really not fair to these enemies. It's level 39 stage though, and we're like over level 60. So, yeah, we're 62. But that's what happens. It's like the whole joke about you did all the side quests before going to the end game. But instead we did the end game and then went and did all the side quests. Great job, Rogue, honestly. So proud of you. That's the benchmark, huh?
You're all right now.
Alright, we're halfway there on enemies and we're only 3 minutes in. So.
You'll be real proud of me. I didn't sell you out or
There they go. They just took care of that that wizard. Oh, it's Constance. Is it daytime? I didn't think it was daytime. It says defeat the ruffian. I don't know if that's the last enemy. Because we still haven't gotten to the their ally all the way up in the upper left, but I'm afraid to surely that can't be the end of the stage. I don't think it is. I think we'll be good to go take it out. Well, they're heading up there though, so let's just take care of these enemies real quick. Who's after? We'll try Yuri. We haven't. I don't think I played as Yuri at all, actually. Light blade, huh? That did no damage. Light blade and assassinate. Assassinate did a little bit more damage. I have no idea what his ZR just did. Yeah, Yuri doesn't have a bad moveset. Another, like, blade plus mage. I feel like, in comparison to Byleth, Yuri does kind of fall short. Given that they're kind of using a similar moveset. But, not bad. Yeah, okay, that wasn't the end of the stage. For some reason, when it said defeat, like, the bandit leader, I was like, oh. But yeah, we hadn't rescued the rogue all the way up there. Oh, we gotta hurry up there. We've actually torn through Shez's weapon durability this stage because we've been only using Shez. It just makes these fights go by instantly though, so I keep doing it. And we do have 320 durability. I do think that's probably enough for endgame. Like, I can't imagine it's not. We do want to make sure we rank the last stage though, because I want Parthia. Why not? It's a good bow for... We probably won't put it on Claude since he has Fail Not, so it's a new bow for Shamir. And it's one of the legendary, like, Altan weapons, which is pretty neat, if you ask me.
It seems my other side has been doing some experimenting, and my magic got a bit out of
There you
hand
go.
as a result.
That's all the rogues saved, to my knowledge. Guess there's more enemies.
Hear my neighbor
We're good on enemies though, and we did it in 6 minutes, so... I don't know. I feel like I don't need to be checking that all the time, but it's just crazy. Like, we're over 1,500 enemies, but our KO counter says we're only at 1,300. Like, I'm sure it's just gotta be counting any enemies that our allies kill, but it's still just... weird. Okay, that was weird.
has not forsaken us quite yet,
Jeez.
for I was able to put a stop to it.
Well, if these aren't the last enemies, I can only imagine there's 1 or 2 more steps, but... The big boss? Okay. Let's wait to use this until they're all there. Perfect. And I'd imagine that probably does it.
Oh, look. Here comes the big boss.
I still just think, even after all this time, I think Shez's moveset is so cool. Yeah, that was it. I wish you could, like, change the design of weapons in these games, though. That's one thing I wish the old Warriors had as well. It's like, I really like the red look of the other blade we were using for such a long time, because I think it matched thematically really well. So if you could just, like, I don't know,
Perhaps I ought to decoct some
I
of
guess
your
it's usually called, like,
brilliance for myself.
transmog. Reskin your weapons to look like something else. I think that'd be pretty neat.
Let's get
Yeah, that wasn't so bad.
Looks like it's over. You folks go on ahead. I want to talk to these rogues.
Lots of mats. Interesting. Alrighty. Is it doing pretty good? Just the four of us? Maybe. After... Oh my gosh, yeah. Was it Balthus's fault? So many monsters.
Now that's how it's done.
Thanks for the help.
Sure.
Things would have been pretty hairy with just the four of us.
Did she hit her friends?
Got this guy pulling bounty hunters in from across the continent.
Oh, it's daytime now, so she's a little bit
This
timid.
gal summoning monsters.
Not my fault.
Pile on.
Totally necessary.
And
I'm not gonna do that here, but that's really funny.
sorceress who rained pain down on friend and foe alike.
Minus the fact that we defeated like, you know, 1,400 of the some 1,600
no
enemies.
help whatsoever.
We'll test with the new spell.
Hey, everyone did what they could, and we all had a hand in the victory.
Jeez.
Yeah, it worked out in the end. So buck up.
It was nice to blow off some
Did you?
steam at any rate.
And I'm certain my other self was pleased
Oh,
to
okay.
do more field tests with the new spell.
Is that the battalion that we just got?
My complete and utter mortification.
Well, I've still got my complaints, but I suppose I gained something from this too.
Or did he just want some minions?
What's that?
I went ahead and hired the folks we saved. I made it look like I was doing them a favor.
Yeah, he's the schemer of the Ashen
Never
Wolves.
seem to ask questions of their saviors. I'd been feeling a bit short-handed anyway, so it all worked out.
You're always looking for an angle, Yuri. That's the one thing about you that never changes.
Why do you have to be so mean to
What do
Balthus?
you mean the one thing? What are you trying to say? What else changed?
You know, Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, so
Constant.
now I haven't changed? Do you even know what you're
Same
saying?
though,
Or
honestly.
words just falling out of your mouth faster than your brain can make them.
Pretty much, yeah. Clearly, B hasn't changed either.
Well,
Are we now?
I've certainly changed. Alas, I have lost all of my hopes and dreams.
Are you kidding? That is 100% you.
We do have max affinity now with Constance and
Like you're not part of
Happy.
this. You're one of us now, whether you like it or not.
Mm.
Plus, I could use some help babysitting this lot. They call us the Abyssal Four, but now that we're 5, we'll have to change that name.
Is it?
Constance, did anyone ever call us that?
It's hard to say.
I mean, we also have purple hair,
Sadly, my
so
feeble memory has
there we
all
go.
but wasted away.
We were
Oh my
probably called
gosh.
that. I mean, it's not like Yuri Bird to just make things up.
Hey, what's with you guys? Do you want to be a part of this group or not? And here I was
Yeah,
thinking we'd
the man in
all go out and
crippling debt.
celebrate our victory. I guess it's just gonna be the two of us, friend.
Sure, I guess.
No fair.
Except for
There's at
experimenting
least
on anyone
three of us.
at night,
Hey, if you're paying, you know.
because
Also, you're right.
jeez.
I think we were called the Abyssal Four at some point.
Wherever you lead, dear Yuri, I shall follow. For
That
I
is
have
kinda
no
funny.
desires of my
Two
own.
more.
I will happily feast
Guess we'll
upon
save the best
whatever
for last,
meager
eh?
morsels you see fit to
Been
scatter
hired to clear up
before me.
poachers near Solving
Enough
Village.
yapping. Let's get out of here already.
Okay, so that's apparently the village Leonie calls home. I think Leonie's a little bit underleveled for this. I'm pretty sure she's level 40, but Geralt, Arya, sorry, Byleth. I just really like the name Arya. It's what I've always used for most female characters. Geralt, Byleth, and Shez are all really, really leveled up. Maybe.
We get all of them? That's the trouble.
I'm sure he has.
You never quite know where they are.
Well, we've hit every likely hideout, so I'm guessing we cleared them
Oh, there's
all.
Alois. Apparently he was here with us the entire time. I'd assumed that was the case, but he kind of just disappeared ever since we'd hired Geralt's mercenaries.
But you've been here before too, Captain.
Sure, but that was a long time ago. And I
Yeah.
don't remember it all that
Kind of
well.
illegal.
Ill news, Captain. Another group of poachers has taken hostages from a neighboring village.
These people are
Oh.
a disgrace to poaching.
Saying so makes it sound like you believe there was some
Okay.
honor in the activity to begin with.
These hostage takers must be friends of the poachers who were just here.
Yeah, I think anyone would be kind of mad if they found out stuff like this is happening in their hometown.
As well as poaching. They made it sound like more
more than a few people have been taken from the surrounding villages recently.
Sawn too?
Yes, they said there was
Oh,
one.
Byleth.
Ugh,
It's back to
it
the whole...
makes me so mad.
Because it's
These guys
Byleth.
sound like bad news.
They have,
We
like,
better do
no
something
emotions.
Before these new victims are dragged off and never heard from again.
House Manager's orders were to deal with the poaching issue in Sawn. We did that.
Oh my
Our work
gosh.
is done.
How can you be so cold? If you see someone in trouble, you help them.
Why do you have to be so
That's
mean?
just basic decency.
I don't see anyone here. Do you?
You know what I mean.
Easy, Leone.
Well, to be fair, Gerald's also noted, like, Byleth didn't even cry as a baby because of what Rhea did to them. So it's not exactly as though it was entirely his fault.
I wasn't always the best dad, I admit.
Perhaps we should shelve
There you go.
this conversation for now and determine our next move.
Plenty of villagers helped me out the last
Yeah.
time I was in this neck of the woods, so it's only right I pay it back. Plus, I'm not just gonna sit by while poachers
Did we
run
just say
wild on my
no?
apprentices' home turf.
Captain!
Would we just, is it just gonna be one of those, like...
We track down the bad guys, free the hostages, and go home.
I want to, but I have a feeling it's either gonna force us to go, as always, or it's going to make us redo the dialogue.
Nobody will think worse of you if you decide to duck out on
Poor
this
Byleth.
place.
It's that little, like, slightly annoyed face.
Yeah, I'll come.
To be fair, I think Leonie's just a little bit jealous of Byleth for getting to spend all that time with,
Good to
Geralt
know
as
I
well.
can count on you at least.
Because he is her, like, hero and such. I still remember all the memes that spawned from that, but I think it's more just like a
Then let's roll.
master apprentice type thing, you know?
You're in charge.
Leave it to me, Captain.
Now, enough
It's the citizens, no routed allies. Okay.
come for plain old
I just feel bad, though. She's just subtly throwing jabs at Byleth. Okay, so 1209 minutes.
Right behind
That shouldn't be the worst. Because we do have super rough memes. But that is kind of funny. Just that subtle, like, slightly grumpy face on Byleth's face. When she throws that, just, at least I can count on you. Because I genuinely do like Byleth. I think that, obviously, there's a whole emotionless thing.
The hostages must
But in terms of, like, the role they put in the story and everything, like... And it does make sense for their character. Because you, again, have to consider the entire point of it was Rhea messed with them. It's not their fault.
Here we go then. Let's make some noise and get their
And they missed out, like... Oh, it's crazy, like... The best way I can compare it to is, like... Of the recent things I've read is... The World of Atoma games is tougher mobs, right? In that... The entire idea was, like, originally the main character, the Saint... Was going to be this crazy person who, like, got the special power that the main hero ended up taking when he was isekai'd. Because he knew where it was from the game, obviously. And then... You know, it cut out... It very specifically mentions at some point, you know... It basically cheated her out of some of the character development she would have had. Because she didn't get those powers. She didn't have those opportunities to grow. Because the isekai'd hero took some of those opportunities from her, and then he was looking after her instead of allowing her to do that herself. So it freed her from some of the potential hardships, only to kind of give her some more. I think that's kind of what happened with Byleth, honestly. Is Byleth just never got the chance to become the hero Byleth could have been, you know? Because they didn't become a professor. They didn't even get their fancy, like, whip sword. I still don't know what happened to that sword, and it's bothering me. I don't remember even what it's called. But it's like the sword they use in Smash, all that stuff, like... But again, it's just all that stuff that... Because of the way things happen in Three Hopes, with Shez really being the one that takes over the story, basically Byleth just never had the opportunity to do a lot of those things. Here we go. We gotta make sure that we can rescue the citizens here. This one has a little bit tighter requirements, though. It's 1209 minutes. I still don't think it'll be an issue, especially since we have 4 units and 2 of them are mounted, but can't afford to mess around, as always, just a little bit too much. I do wonder, though, in hard mode, if it also shortens the requirements in addition to making things harder, or if it's just the same requirements because things are harder. Just one of those interesting things that I wonder. We do need to order some people down to help the other citizens. So Byleth go protect... Yeah, at least take their stronghold. I don't know if we need to necessarily have them just sit in there and protect. But we need to make sure that the citizens don't get routed, because that would kind of, you know, defeat the purpose of the given mission.
Initiating the operation.
Just another Dark Knight coming here too.
Let's go, everyone.
I'm on it. Let's see how it goes.
There we go. That's kind of an indirect compliment from Byleth.
Not a problem. Village girl. Now I'm a mercenary.
Perfect. Okay.
You really have come a long way.
Shez reach this stronghold?
Weak? That's hard to imagine.
Looking good.
Don't get cocky.
This was raised by Gerald after all. Oh, was he?
How to determine the flow of battle by capturing key points on the battlefield. He's the best. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He can't even get mad about her saying that because, you know, he just said he sees them as siblings, and he's like twice their age.
Which would make you... What, Alois?
So,
Older brother?
actually, to be fair, he can't be that much older because he's probably not as old as Gerald from the looks of things. And I think, can't you marry Alois as female Byleth in Three Houses? I feel like that's a thing. I've never done it, but I'm sure I could just. I mean, people have posted every support conversation ever on like all over again. 2/3 of the group.
Looks like everyone from the village is okay. Just have to get them to a
Oh, we needed to escort the citizens. Okay, in that case, have Arya or Bible protect that one. Have Gerald protect this citizen. Where did Leonie go? I guess we should go. Maybe put down the order on Shez to protect this one. I know the orders dissipate if we haven't been in control of them for long enough. But we need to just make sure we get rid of all these enemies. In fact, let's just do this quickly. A little bit of concern, because those hostages were already kind of hurt. Especially the ones that are further away are going to have a harder time making it there. Hey, get away. They recaptured this stronghold unless this one... Interesting. Oh, perfect. Is Chesney or the one they were assigned to commit?
I didn't realize the help was a strategy.
Interesting.
Always struck me as more of a hit 'em until they stop moving. Sort of. Take a breather.
Oh, he's strategic when he needs to be.
Yeah.
Handed even. He does whatever it
That's
takes
fair
to
enough,
win.
too. The whole I'm not a kid anymore argument, but
You've become quite the mercenary. Seems like
still.
only yesterday you were just a little kid.
I know
No,
it
I don't
seems
think so.
like yesterday to you, but I
He's a
feel
mercenary,
it's
like,
then.
he's already gonna be fighting, you'd imagine.
Someone needs
Take a breather.
moving my own pace.
Was it too much work taking me on as an apprentice?
Let's take care of Oh, there's Alois. I didn't even know Alois was on this battlefield, honestly.
Time, right?
Oh, that's interesting.
You were a pretty good apprentice. No matter how much
That's another one of those things that you probably take for granted until you think about it, but
Well, I didn't know how to
knowing how to
so
write
even
would
though I
be
remember your lessons,
not something a lot of people in medieval times might know how to do. Ooh, missed.
They sure put up a fight.
Let's just do this.
if Gerald's
Yeah, even as like his apprentice and also being I think a holy knight as well. Leonie's moveset to me doesn't feel crazy similar. Like that attack looks pretty similar because they're, you know, both holy knights, but could these citizens move any slower? I mean, like, do I have to get rid of this Great Knight maybe?
My turn.
Oh, okay, no, I just wasn't paying attention. Apparently we're supposed to defeat the Great Knights. That's awkward. Nope, totally my bad. L2. I don't really understand how this Grey Knight all the way over here is preventing the pursuit. But sure. Hopefully we don't run out of time because of that, actually. That's really awkward. Totally my fault. Never mind. Take it back. I'm super confused. I'm sitting here like, I've been guarding these people for how long? Oh yeah, now they're going. You know what, let's just... Like... Hopefully this actually takes a night, otherwise we probably shouldn't have wasted the Awakening, but... Should be. I think it's still called Awakening in this game. Might be wrong about that. Okay, one's out, two's out, it's just the one by Gerald. And we still got 3 minutes, we're fine. Like I said, I really don't want to redo the paralogues. I don't think it's 100% necessary to get an S rank on all of them, but I really don't want to redo the paralogues. Ooh, he didn't target the right. Oops. Okay, well the citizen made it out anyway, so that works out. I think this scythe weapon, though, it doesn't quite look like a super like crazy scythe. But given that this is supposed to be a spear, it's pretty neat. I don't know if it's in the name of justice so much as you, like, you know, we're kidnapping people, but sure. Victory conditions have changed. Defeat the bandit leader. Oh, don't you worry about that. That actually did one shot. We'll just do that. I think we defeated enough enemies. Yeah, we did. We're good. Not so bad. Mr. Sawyer's Bumper. Well, there you go. That's good. There you go.
The elder has a good relationship with Count Gloucester, so he responded right away.
It's kind of funny though that my initial reaction though was, hey, let's just leave him go. Let's dip. And that was also Byla's first reaction. So Shez and Byla are like, ah, they'll be fine. And Leonie or Gerald are both like, nope, we should do something. Same with Eloise. That probably makes them the actual better people, but, you know. Eh. Alright, just like Lysithea's paralogue, a few more support conversation, then we can finally move on to the end of the story. Not too crazy. Oh my gosh, Eloise! A captive audience. They just skim over. They don't even pay any attention to the pun.
I told jokes to the hostages as I delivered them safely back to their
Yeah, he'll be fine.
You could say I had a captive
Probably.
audience.
We've restored peace to this whole area, Captain. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Mercs like us are only supposed to work for pay. But a freebie every now and then won't kill me.
Yeah, I would have
There you go.
regretted it if I'd gone home.
Thank you for doing the right
I
thing.
feel like being a hunter would have been a little bit more peaceful than being a mercenary, but sure.
I'm thanking you anyway.
Maybe fame and glory type deal.
Live in peace. I was supposed to stay here and be a hunter.
You're still able to steal some money back.
But once I met the captain, I knew I had to try and make it as a mercenary.
Well, if you love what you do, that's good.
My father and the rest of the village always supported me.
Still
Before the
working on that.
academy and after.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, that's school debts for you.
I finally became a mercenary.
It's been like
and was able to
3
help my
years,
whole
at least
town
2
with
years
losses.
post time skip
I
since,
don't think I've ever
you know,
been happier.
that happened.
It feels like I've repaid some debts, although not my actual debt
Interesting.
from school. Still working on that one.
I'm glad we helped
We
you
just sent Alois on an errand.
instead of helping to give you back.
Oh, because Leonie needs to go back to their village, and he's not going to send Byleth.
You mind reporting back and letting Count Gloucester know what happened? Oh, and don't forget to grab the reward money.
Understood.
Okay.
I will away at once.
Leonie, why don't you run along to Sawin and let everyone know things are good now? Tell him I'll stop by later.
I will, Captain. Thank you again.
You two should head back to base.
Yeah, you don't want Shez and Byleth to come eat with you?
Leonie's old man. Probably won't make it back until tomorrow.
You expect them to throw you a feast, don't you?
Wow.
Hey, yeah.
Although if they just happened to feed me a feast, it'd be rude to refuse. You know, I mean, I'm not going to tell them no.
Got rid of the poachers and now
And
Leonie's
you said,
also
oh.
on the way? You're practically begging them to serve
Oh
you
my
a
gosh.
fancy meal.
It's not like that. Although if I get there and they
What do you
decide to have
mean?
a feast ready, it'd be rude to refuse.
And poor Alois doesn't even get to join in on the fun. Shit.
Hey, that guy hasn't had a drink
Oh
in
my
years.
gosh, Gerald.
He's not missing anything. Now then, this is an evening for grown-ups, so you kids get on home. Well, time for me to set off.
Honestly, though.
Ah, there's nothing like that first drink after playing.
Now that you're asking. These kids.
I'm impressed with your old man. That's a savvy move right there.
I'd like to hold hands with Byleth. If she asks, I'm going to tell her yes.
You would
Aw.
emulate him?
Probably not now that you're asking. Well, guess us kids should shut up and
Jeez.
head home. Maybe hold hands.
Oh,
so
we have
don't get
max
lost.
supplies. I guess to be fair, we probably won't need them post
Joking. I swear,
post
the
game,
only
but
thing dull
like I
in
said,
this
if we
place
still
is
save on a new save file for the new game plus, we will probably go ahead and focus pretty heavily on that. So we could come back and, you know, since we probably won't get all these units very clearly again, if we want to max out support conversation stuff later, probably something I'd do on my own time. I'd still potentially be playing on the save file, so, you know, nothing too crazy. But one more, yeah, unless we had a new random support conversation pop up here. Oh, there's one between us and Yuri. Let's do RC rank with Yuri, and then I was just planning on doing Petras all at once. Since it was a full-on conversation, why not? After Lysithea's. 5 days, huh? Oh, okay. He probably shouldn't read other people's letters, but if he's been missing for 5 days, that's a little bit different.
Yuri's still not back yet?
Oh, yeah, it's personal. That's where I'd stop. Is this sentence right now.
A letter? Not like him to leave his stuff lying around.
Is it maybe family?
If it says anything about where he went. Well, it's just sitting there.
It's got a different name
Can't
on
hurt
it.
to take a peek,
Interesting.
right? Are you well? Eating enough?
Sorry.
I worry about you all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for sending money always. I want to see you soon. Huh. Is this letter for you?
But to be fair, is lying on the ground?
It's got a different name on it.
For sure.
Having fun?
Yuri. Wow.
Pretend you didn't read the... Yeah, that's gonna work.
Just now.
That doesn't make it okay, but yeah.
Snooping through things that don't belong to you. Choose your next word
Yeah.
carefully if you don't want them to be your last.
No, not really.
I'm sorry. It was just sitting out in the open, so I thought it'd be okay.
We're just sitting here wondering where he went, like...
You weren't coming back.
Never mind. I can't imagine you'd have a reason to pry into my affairs.
Mind my own business.
Suppose this is what I get for taking off without
It's not that I'm not interested, but yeah.
And for being so careless.
Yeah, I thought you'd be the last person.
It is
to
from
leave
his mother,
something
okay.
like this behind.
I thought it was from family.
You must have left in a hurry.
You could say that.
It's tough because I seriously don't remember, like...
Well, it must have been
I'm sure this is mentioned in Three Houses, the type of thing like Lysithea's illness that probably was.
Your concern,
I just don't remember.
The letter is from my mother. She's always been prone to illness.
Yeah.
But lately, her condition has grown worse.
That's really sad.
I try to visit whenever she asks to see me. Obviously, there are times when I can't go, but...
I thought we weren't prying,
I
Shez.
have to take all the time I can get, right? I never
Is it
know which
Reginald?
visit will be my final chance.
Is his name Reginald?
I understand.
Reggie, maybe? I don't know.
Someone's gone. They're gone.
Name that starts with
But
R-E-G.
wait, the name on that letter.
That's the only
Is
one
that
I can
your
think
real
of.
name? So Yuri's an alias, and you're really
No need to say it.
Hmm.
And yes.
Why is everybody threatening us?
Anyway.
Fair point. It's a nice
Don't
name,
tell him
though.
that.
Why hide it?
Well, yeah, promise that you won't, but don't tell him that he's free to do his worst. Sure, he'll totally murder us.
Anyone about this. You won't like to find out what happens if you do.
Hmm.
I won't. Promise.
Yeah.
And if I do slip up, you're free.
Well, it's maybe on the list of things we have to take care of next to Lysithea's illness.
I am sorry for prying.
I am like 99% certain that surely
Hope your mom gets better soon.
this paralogue has to deal with that. Otherwise, they're just gonna mention, or otherwise they'd just be mentioning like her illness and then not fixing it, you know? So, I'm fully expecting that to be the case here. Oh, okay. Okay.
It's me, Count
Apologize.
Gloucester,
Interesting.
Lysithea von Ordelia.
Ah, yes. Please come in.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Count Gloucester, I have come here in my father's stead.
Oh.
And must return to the front line soon. But I wish to formally apologize for any trouble caused by the recent events in Ordelia.
That's fair. They are allies, but yeah.
But my domain was
Gloucester has especially been one that's done that very heavily.
Here, it should be me.
Because of the bridge, yeah.
What was happening in Ordelia, yet was only able to dispatch a small force.
Oh, now he's saying it's personal.
It is only natural that a house should prioritize the safety of its own domain. And besides, House Gloucester is tasked
okay.
with protecting the crucial Great Bridge of Murder.
Yeah, we've seen a ton of Count Gloucester and none of Count Ordelia.
But for me, I fear this also
okay.
has a personal component. It is true that I could not abandon the Great Bridge, yet your father has been my compatriot
Interesting.
for many years, and I view him as a true brother in arms. Had something happened to him, I would never have been able to forgive myself.
I had no idea you
This
held
is
my
post
father in
Federation.
such high regard.
I do think this was, I mean, based on level, is the most recent,
Him far more than I was
you know,
able to give.
paralogue.
And what
So it
do
does
you
make
owe him
sense.
Exactly?
You don't have to be like that, Lysithea.
My lord, you have a messenger from the Federation army.
Send them through.
At once, sir.
Yep.
Sorry to barge in like this.
What do you want?
Again, wow.
Oh, hey, Lysithea. Didn't know you were here.
Oh no.
But it actually saves me some time.
You are the mercenary captain who reports directly to His Majesty, yes? Has something happened?
A town south of here has been overrun by bandits, down in Ordelia territory.
Interesting.
What?
And here I had hoped all those rogues had been suppressed.
Is he about to say no?
Just a ragtag group of anyone who
Yeah.
managed to avoid extermination.
Is this
at
just
the
gonna be
hands of
another
the
two-person paralogue?
Looks like they all came together for one last hurrah. Since the town isn't
Yeah,
too
I was
far
gonna say,
away,
have they already
I was
started
asked to
marching
come
out?
here and see if you could spare any troops.
I will send all I can, but I fear it will be a scant force.
Well, at least she's
But
blaming
surely
Claude, not
the
us.
Federation will send reinforcements as well.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's sort of got their hands full preparing for the next battle. Honestly, they could barely spare me as a messenger.
I didn't realize Claude could be so cruel.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it's the truth.
Okay.
This is just bad timing.
I'm sorry, Lysithea.
In one place or
If
another.
it helps,
I mean,
we
take
gave you
it.
our fancy mercenary
You're all way
whistle.
out here apart from the main force,
So,
right?
Still your tongue.
oh,
I'll have you know I'm here on very
Okay.
important business.
This bickering can wait. We need
to be fair, at this point, is he still the Count at this point? I'm trying to remember.
Wait, you're coming?
Because as of when we went back with House Ordelia to help with them,
Hey,
wasn't that after he'd already passed the title on to
I am glad to hear it.
Lawrence?
The force would be lucky to have the great Irvin Fritz Gloucester
My
on
chance to
their side.
rectify that error.
My
Hey, good on you, man.
prowess may not be as renowned as some, but I have
He
bestrode
probably
many
does. It'll be fine.
in my day. Sadly, I could not lend much aid
Yeah, it is a
to
two-man
the
mission.
recent
Okay.
disturbances in Ordelia.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
This is my chance to rectify that error.
1500, 12 minutes, not too bad.
I sure hope he knows what he's
I
doing.
feel like it's pretty normal for these end game missions to be a little bit more than 100 enemies a minute. Which really sounds kind of intimidating, but it's not. Like, I don't know what would actually be difficult number. Few hundred maybe per minute. Because you do still have your other objectives, obviously. But basically every objective ever... Oh, okay.
Bandits have completely taken over
What
the
we might do
town.
here is have Lysithea just go take them on the one side, and then we'll go take the other side. Because we are going to have to split up if we're going to do this in a timely manner. And then we're just going to hope that Count Gloucester doesn't get himself killed. Because I really don't want to have to go protect him.
Count on me. Stronghold.
Interesting. Yeah, this could be a little tricky though, just because weapon durability might run out on Shez if there's only two of us. But in terms of actual levels and everything, these two are literally our strongest two units, I'd say, so... Not exactly a huge issue there. Just annoying when you run out of the ability to use your fancy moves. Yeah, that's true. They're bandits with very little to lose, you know? They're not gonna hold back at all.
Yet they also lack the scruples of nobility. We should proceed with caution.
Take out this stronghold. Yeah, that move, if they hadn't guarded there, that move probably would have still just one-shotted. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't really expect Count Gloucester to come out himself. I knew he'd fought, obviously. Like, he wasn't just a... I feel like most of the nobles that aren't super frail or anything like that fight in some capacity. But... Yeah, see, the issue here is this is making me think that this doesn't actually address everything going on with Lysithea. Which makes me wonder if we only have one more fight, maybe an epilogue left. Are they really just going to mention her illness and then not take care of it, you know? Because it wasn't taken care of in our support conversations. So... you know, kind of important. You know, not something I was really thinking we should ignore.
Let us show them that the rule of law
Okay,
still holds
it
strong
blocked.
in Ordelia.
Oh my god, okay. Keep the bandits to the south. Huh? Well, they are quite a ways away. I guess we can just send Shez after him. Again, it's a little bit annoying trying to micromanage everything with just 2 units. It's easier to, like, manage what they're doing, but I think it makes it more important what each of them is doing at any given time.
Not a problem.
And I do get the feeling you probably need to take care of as many of these Wyvern Lords and such. Oh, okay. What we're actually going to do is do this. And then we're going to warp over here. Because I don't think a defeat condition, if memory serves, was losing one of these strongholds. But I'd rather not risk it. It's one of those, like, I mean, it doesn't tell us, okay. How many enemies we got? Oh, we're almost halfway and we're only 2 minutes in. Yeah. Yeah, Lawrence takes the lessons his father told him very seriously. We all know that very well.
I told my son he must never forget that.
And he remains dedicated to that ideal. Perhaps a little too dedicated.
Alrighty. Oh yeah, 100%. We weren't really using him, but it doesn't mean he's not doing his job. Yeah, there's so many enemies. We're using a lot of weapon points. A little bit concerning. Hopefully we'll have A gauge though by the point to deal with a bunch of enemies as well.
Rivaled only by that of the king himself.
Luckily, both of our both Lysithea and Shez are pretty good at dealing with these flying units as well. So, not too shabby.
Let us take care of the other bandits now.
Let's get in the middle of these enemies, then do this. I still really like Lysithea's A bar animation. I think it's really cool. Just the light and dark circle and then combining them. Does a big, like, burst.
I will show you no mercy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's just good to see that they get along. Even though Lysithea, you know, didn't think they did.
An understandable impression. We did tend to
But that's one of those, like, yeah, they're passionate. And if they're willing to debate so heavily with each other, I suppose that means they're
strong opinions about
comfortable enough to do so.
our own territories and peoples. We are like-minded in that way.
Interesting.
I see that now.
But yeah, if those who slither in the dark don't show up at all here, it's gonna be interesting. Like, it just, with how much thought they put in this game, I have a really hard time believing that they would mention Lysithea's illness and the fact that we need to take care of those who slither in the dark potentially to deal with it, and then just not address it ever again, you know? Besides, like, Claude being, well, don't worry, you know, because Claude does tell her, you know, don't act like you don't have future, all that stuff, very encouraging. So if we were to just kind of, you know, ignore it beyond that, it'd be odd. Yeah, that attack's so strong, wow. Yeah, Count Gloucester just has a very strong opinion. Oh, there you go.
I understand that you often quarreled with the other lords at the round table as well.
My quarrels with the other lords.
Grand Plaza. Ooh, okay.
Only with your father could I exchange
More
ideas
enemies.
on equal footing. It's still fun to be mad if we can hold this place. So
Well, okay, in that case, we'll have Lysithea take this one. And then I'm actually gonna... Oh, I can't? Wait, why? Okay. They warp up there and try and catch him before they get out.
Fiends abuse this town for one.
Never mind, they...
You can count on. I'll do my best.
Yeah, they got out pretty fast, actually.
They've taken the
We can get 2 of them here, though.
civic building. We must.
Oh, and there's, like, potions here. I hadn't even seen those earlier. Alright, well, Oh, did we not defeat one of those? Alright, you know what? Just need you to go down. How's Gloucester doing? Is he still healthy? Ah, he's fine. I was gonna say, I was a little worried that he was gonna just randomly die, because sometimes the allied units in these Fire Emblem games, whether it be warriors or not, just probably like, they'll randomly kick the bucket. But they seem to have been pretty nice as far as like, you know, when Hilda's on her own, there weren't a lot of bow enemies, stuff like that. Which is pretty nice, honestly. Super annoying when that happens. Oh, Lysithea's working on the last stronghold, so we'll keep chasing down these other wyverns. Or maybe they're not wyverns, but we also only need 21 more enemies, so. Really? Okay, I was gonna say. So annoying when they block that and then you don't kill them. I'd have been a little bit annoyed there, honestly. Alright, here's the last wyvern lord. Perfect. Wait, what? Oh, we did capture the base, okay. That means there's probably more enemies to be defeated, which, not super surprising, I'd say. Seized all strongholds? Yeah, there's probably at least an enemy commander, I'd imagine. Hmm. Interesting. Alright. There's still quite a few bandits here, actually. Oh my gosh. Well, apparently. Goodbye, bandit leader. I'm very sorry, but, well, not really. But he showed up, hit the A button, you're going down. And that was the end of the mission, okay. Not too shabby. Yep, sure did. But yeah, 100%. We did most of it with Shez, but I would argue that Lysithea probably, you know, did more than Count Gloucester.
You did well, Lysithea. Perhaps even better than myself.
Thank you
Nice.
for your assistance.
Level 63.
Not at all. I'm glad the town is
59.
safe once more.
Right. More stat upgrades. We got a good amount of money too. I really wish we'd done the facility upgrade to earn more money after battle earlier than we did. That would have made things so much easier. Which is me not understanding what to prioritize. Nah, I mean, to be fair, 2 versus 3, that's quite a bit, but we are the commander of that group.
Thank you for your assistance.
I thought you were going to be a dead weight. Jeez.
I only wish I could have been
He's one of the 6 great lords. Yeah, she's going to be mad at us for saying that.
in comparison to those of you and your mercenary friend here, Lysithea.
I hope you never have to do it. What, do you want us to die young?
Either. Honestly, I figured you were gonna be
Jeez.
dead weight, but you really held your own.
Such impertinence.
Yeah.
Ah, but it's a terrible thing to grow old. I hope you never have to do it, either of you. But like
We
it
are
or
still
not,
the sturdy
I admit I am
pillars
past
of
my
Leicester.
prime. Still,
Oh, there you
some
go.
bones did what they could.
You were a tremendous help, and I've no doubt my father will feel the same when I.
We still haven't mentioned the fact that, does he know that she has a significantly shortened lifespan?
That we are still the sturdy pillars
Yeah.
of Leicester.
Of course.
Huh.
That said, I am pleased to see your father has such a superlative heir waiting in the wings. Perhaps Count
That's pretty
Odelia
neat.
might consider stepping down a tad.
I cannot say.
As leaders, we often butted heads because we had to look out for the interests of our own realms.
Seems
But
like an
once
odd
we
time to
both
bring that up,
passed
but sure.
on our title, we could simply be friends, and that is something I would greatly look forward to.
That
So
reminds me.
yeah, so maybe he is aware of what happened to her.
Earlier that you owed him something.
Ah, yes.
Did he have something to do with this as well?
Something of a longer tale, but perhaps now is the time to tell it. When you were still quite young, the Empire often saw
Yeah.
fit to meddle in House Ordelia's affairs. As I was on the outside looking in, I was never able to discern any of the particulars. But even as a bystander, it was clear that your father's hardships were
Yeah.
Considerable. Yet, I did nothing. As leader of the
See, and that's what makes me think if we do Empire Path next, potentially we maybe can't. I thought you could recruit Lysithea on the Empire Path, but she, you know, her condition is due to the Empire. Which maybe on the opposite hand, she joins the Empire to find information on the cure. Because who better, you know, than the ones who did it.
Must have been difficult for you as well.
Interesting.
Still, I should have spoken out, if nothing else. I owed your father that much.
I see.
I cannot change the past.
That's a good idea. I'm not going to tell him to aim higher.
I might help your father live out his remaining years in peace. Perhaps we could take tea together sometime.
It's such like an old man thing to say.
I'm certain he would
Oh
love
my
that.
gosh. Okay, so no information actually on helping Lysithea is a little bit concerning, admittedly, because I was kind of hoping that's what that paralogue was. But we'll see. We still have the end of the, you know, story to go through. But we still need to do Petra's dialogue. Let's do a last little bit of cleanup as well once we do that. But let's go through it. Petra, I did level up with gifts. She was pretty much the only one. Well, I think I went from B to A with Happy and Constance, but I'd used him a bit in my grinding, so I had some friendship with him. But I've always liked Petra. I've mentioned this before, but I have a really soft spot for the characters of the Empire, and minus like Hubert, because my first two playthroughs of Three Houses were the Church route and the Empire route, so really had them there.
Hey there, Petra. Off to train?
Oh yeah, I forgot she was a queen.
That would give me much joy. An
Oh.
opponent with toughness will keep me upon my toes.
Okay.
You mean me? Nah, you're way tougher than I am. Also, aren't you a queen now?
I feel like Petra is one of the most common units that people turn into Dancer.
I've not become queen yet.
I remember... Oh, that's fair.
There is an
She's like a
understanding
fighting
that it will happen. And
I
yes,
remember
in
that
Bridget,
I saw a
royalty
YouTube
must
video way
have
back when
knowledge of fighting.
of
We must know how to fight.
possibly go on.
To
I
be
don't
leading
know.
our people.
A lot of things actually.
A ruler must
But
have
I
more
remember
strength than any other.
that I think someone turned Lysithea into a dancer,
My people are expecting this
but
of me.
I have no idea what's actually like super
So it's the toughest person
efficient,
calling the
because in
shots,
theory I
huh?
think,
They love it.
yeah, in some
What could possibly
some
go
sense.
wrong?
But
This is how it
I
is
do
meant to be
believe
working. But
that
sometimes
since the
you
dancer
always
uses
go
both
its
swords and
limits.
magic, you know. I mean, I
Mercenaries
guess you
don't
could make
always
the main
seek the
character,
strength
whether
to
it be
be
Byleth
correct.
or Shez, a dancer, but I don't think I'd do that.
That's true.
And so some of the next best options would be
Dies by the
you'd
sword.
either have to train up Lysithea's strength and skill with the sword, or like Petra's magic, skill with
They'll be the last
such,
one
but
you face.
interesting. But to be fair, I think dancers themselves usually use swords in Fire Emblem.
But it gives me
Although I guess
strength
Azura
to
uses a
not
lance,
avoid
I don't know.
shots of danger.
I feel like they're usually like melee weapon
Queen
users
must
though
be
that
facing
don't
any wolf who comes to her door.
strictly
But you can have
use
Pegasus
magic, but they
select
have
your
magic.
fights.
Like Shigure,
Depends on
Azura's
how much
son
food
was
we
like a
can have on the
Pegasus
table
knight.
that week.
I think.
Most of us mercs barely scrape by hand to mouth.
Yeah.
End of the day, it's just business. Some
Jeez.
mercs will take the coin and blow town, and some employers are more than happy to
I
hand
think
us
that
out to dry.
it does sound good, but part of the reason things work so well in like the current world is because you have people that specialize and always have
We do not
specialized in
require
specific
the
things.
selling of swords. In Bridget,
But
everyone is a
if
hunter.
everyone's capable, not bad.
That sounds incredible. In a place like that, nobody'd have to risk their life just to get a bite to eat.
Your words give me great happiness.
Stop
I
pushing
will
that button.
always be full of pride for
Sure.
Bridget.
Unless she's literally asking for my ear. Nothing too crazy. I mean, you live on the road, yeah. You fight for money.
May I ask for your ear?
Sure thing. What's on your mind?
That's
I have
nice
a
of her to
desire
say.
to be learning more about mercenaries. It is a subject of much fascination to me.
Sure.
Is this gonna be one of those,
But I think you've
you
heard
guys are
most of
getting
the
paid?
exciting bits by now.
Nonsense. Each word you
Hmm.
speak is full of
There you go.
excitement. Please give me more illumination. For example, are you receiving payment
Money
for your work here?
is important for everyone.
Sure. Me and Claude have a contract.
As a regular
Lucrative
mercenary,
one too, as these things go.
yeah, I was gonna say as a regular mercenary maybe,
You said money was of importance to
but
people who
in this
spoke
current
swords.
state,
What if an enemy
probably
offered a
not.
bigger payment? Would you be taking it?
Yeah, because they can hire more. And
Are you kidding? I'd tell them to get lost before they could finish the
That's
offer.
fair.
But there are plenty of mercs who wouldn't. Gold sings loudest, you know. Still,
Maybe.
If an enemy can outbid
Trust
their
as
current
well.
employer, it means they've got a good shot
There's
at
other
winning.
things that have to do with it.
Nobody who
I really
enjoys
didn't think
breathing
with that
wants to
first part with
walk on the
Shamir they were gonna
weak
have that kind of
side.
situation where the female noble is like,
One must try to be allies
I mean,
with the
she
side that
wanted
has more
Shamir.
richness?
See, that's the thing.
Hmm.
Trust is its own currency too.
That too, yeah.
Let's say someone
They
shows
hire
up
you,
with a
but when you're
pile of
tired and
gold
exhausted coming to
asks
collect
you
your
to switch
pay,
sides. Tempting, right?
they just,
You gotta be careful.
yeah.
You could take them up on their offer, only to learn that the
Interesting.
money was just bait, and the guy actually wants
Yeah,
you
that's
dead.
rough though. That is very
To make
potential, you
things
know.
worse,
The
honest employer
as
could
you're
just stab
coming
you
back
in
from a
the back.
mission
Now
as a
Lysithea
merc,
is
you're super
vile
tired,
as
your
a
employer tries to
three-legged
offer you,
horse.
even if you win at that point,
Point
you did
is,
kill your previous
integrity
employer.
means more to a mercenary than money.
Hmm.
Probably should have led with that, actually.
I have understanding.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Trust is of importance to everyone, but that has even more truth for a seller of swords.
Yeah.
You got it. Oh, and trust me, folks who hire
And you
for the
probably
best
don't want
jobs make sure to
group
know
of like,
everything
especially
about
well-known
you
mercs
before
to be
accepting
mad at you.
the offer. But there's a flip side to that coin.
Yeah.
If you're the type of employer who likes to leave mercs in the lurch, you better
It
believe
depends
that
on what the
word will get
betray.
around.
I mean, it depends on what the
Hard
job
to stay
is.
alive without that nonsense.
That is a thing we all share.
I thought
in
you said you
common.
didn't need cell swords.
We wish to keep breathing, as you said. And what if
Yeah.
I was offering a job?
Maybe afterwards.
We are on
If
the
she had a
same
reason
side.
for us to do something, you know.
Would that be betrayal? Bridget is a land of richness. We can offer much in exchange for the selling of your
Sure
soul.
do.
Sounds tempting,
You're the
but
model of a mercenary.
I can't.
I don't know if there's really.
I gotta see my current contract through first.
Don't know if that's the case, but
Also,
that's nice of her to
didn't we
say.
just get done discussing how terrible
Surprise
it is
Petra
to
of all
abandon
people. I
a
guess
job
these
that
are probably
lets
very
down?
similar no matter what path you take.
I knew you would
But
be
kind of surprised she
declining.
has 3 dialogues.
You are the model of a mercenary.
I do. I just, yeah, I mean, obviously we know that this is the last chapter, but at this point I would be uneasy about, like, the way because things with the church. Are we then gonna have to go back to war with the Empire? Are we gonna have to deal with Dimitri and the kingdom beyond that?
Maybe
Are we
not
gonna have to
today
deal with
or
Almyra,
tomorrow.
all the other nations? It
It's
just,
definitely out there on the horizon.
there's obviously that stuff, but
It will be good to be
Who
putting
knows?
this war behind us.
she's offering us to go to Bridget
When
again.
the war is finished,
That's a pretty big question.
Huh.
then I will give more clarity. How will you be supporting yourself when your contract is completed? If you have the desire, you could come to Bridget with
Vassal
me.
stays.
Wait, seriously? I thought you were just pulling my leg about that.
I
Yeah,
have
but would
never been
Edelgard
pulling your
let
legs.
you...
Also, I am speaking with seriousness. After losing the war with
Especially
the
since she's
Empire,
fighting for the Federation,
Bridget was
not
forced
the
to become a
Empire.
vassal state, but this
A little
war
bit
is giving
difficult.
Bridget the chance to stand on
You know?
equal feet again. We will be opening our borders to Fodlan. The
Because if she
exchange
fought for the
is
Empire and we were on the Empire's path, maybe that dedication would have allowed Edelgard to be like, oh sure, we'll give Bridget their independence back.
Accept my
Not make
apologies
them a
if you feel
vassal
it
state
would be
anymore,
too much
but...
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
I was just taking a moment to admire
Hmm.
you.
To be fair, Shez doesn't really have to plan for the future.
Ugly, and it seems like we're tearing each other apart on a daily basis. But people like you and
Okay.
Claude are already thinking about what comes next. How to plan for
Huh.
it. You're
A lot of
every
pride.
bit the ruler they are.
Not a bad thing though if you're a ruler.
I am
You know, anything in excess, but
I am the queen of
I
Bridget.
think that being proud
We
of
are the proud
being the leader of
isles,
your people, being
placed
very,
upon the sea by the spirits,
you know,
who are watching over us to
happy
this
for them.
day. Our future has the
Mhm.
brightness of the sun.
That's interesting.
I am hoping you
I mean, I
will
wonder,
take the sides we are
'cause
shaping it.
I don't think we've had that many offers post-war from our support conversations.
Put that much stock in me.
Makes me wonder if that is like canonically what happens.
It's a good fit. I've got
Because I'm trying to recall, like, I mean, Lysithea beyond promising
no titles, no
that we'd help
property to
find the
speak
cure. No, like,
I am
future
not
there, a
asking
bunch
for
of other
your answer
things.
in this moment.
Makes
I
me
know
just
your
wonder.
sword is sold right now. But when this war is over, I hope the making of a decision is at the top of your to-be-doing list.
That is pretty nice of them.
That is why I am approaching you so early. Because I am very, very sneaky.
Fair enough. I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, okay.
And I don't blame you for trying to sneak ahead.
Very
of the
nice. Okay, well
competition.
that's, we're finally
Honestly,
somehow
I'm
caught
very
up on
flattered.
support conversations.
So,
Who would have thought it would have ever happened?
let's both make
Anyway,
it through this
dexterity.
war unscathed.
Of our main
I've
team,
learned
we'll give some to
steps.
Arya. I don't think dexterity, I mean, I still don't know what dexterity... I was giving it to Shamir at first, but maybe we'll just give it to our main character. I don't know if this is going to be like 3 houses where a lot of these stats can just be retransferred over, or if it doesn't matter. We have 87 speed. Gerald's at 33. Lysithea's at 47. Yeah, we'll go ahead and give it to Gerald then. Because we do still use Gerald quite a bit. Charm. But, main character. Very nice. We have all these building materials too that we can get rid of too, which is nice. Alright. So time to just do some last minute housekeeping, I think, and then we'll hop into, finally, the finale. Only took like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Pretty odd. Took a hot second. Resources.
Supplies are the lifeblood of any army.
It's nice not needing these anymore, though, honestly. Very, very nice. Yeah, I don't know how much we're going to worry about upgrading our weapons beyond what they are, but we can take a quick peek at the blacksmith. We've already used all our energy and everything. That's kind of the last thing we need to do in the immediate moment. I wanted to see... I was surprised at how, like, little we use these. It kind of makes sense to some extent because we don't have a crest of our own. But, like, I don't think we'll be using either of these two. Maybe we could have used one of these for Lysithea. I don't know. Maybe we'll try that later on. Do we have a... I was curious, because we had a weapon that we could repair into Mercurius. Which is the main reason why I was wondering if there would be another option there. But let's see, Sword of Zoltan. That's maxed out. Mercurius is not. Interesting. There we go. Gerald's lance is the Scythe of Serial. That's maxed out. Uses Agarthium. We could probably forge Gerald's lance for a little bit. I'm only going to worry about the main four because that's 100% who we're going to be using. And, okay, so Gerald and Lysithea's weapons. And luckily they do use, you know, separate things, so even if we can't go all the way, it's still very helpful. Steel. As for their weapons, what did this cost? Boot steel. I'm not going to worry about it if it also costs boot steel. What did Mercurius cost? Mithril. Oh, we didn't even have any more mithril. We have enough smithing stones that we could absolutely probably reforge him again. I'm just not going to worry about it. I really don't think that we should have any problem getting through this last little bit. Could be wrong. But I just feel like we're strong enough. Yes, okay. 9,000. I guess we could level up just a little bit to match levels with Shez, but like I said, we've dilly-dallied for such a long time doing all our paralogues, all our sport conversations. We're finally caught up with everything. Let's head into the end, try and get this Parthia plus 10. Unexplored survey spots. I mean, I don't think there was a spot. It's fine. As long as we save on the before battle here. Once we clear this battle is maybe when we'll start saving on a separate save file just in case. Okay. It's Rhea. 10 elites. The 10 elites, huh?
Your Grace, the Federation army is
Okay, well, Rhea, I didn't think was going to be super devious here. And then all of a sudden, she's like super... Which, to be fair, you know, they're driven into a corner, but... Interesting.
Perhaps it was a mistake not to have terminated their
Oh gosh, my stream is lagging really hard.
Your Grace?
Lady Rhea, with the kingdom army occupied on the western front, we will have
Ooh, my internet is having a rough time here. What just happened?
To retreat to Ferdiad and attempt to hold the palace there.
No. We will face them here.
What? I think my recording's still going. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. That's a little bit concerning. Oh, it looks like we might be okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep going and hope that the recording is fine, but That's a little bit irritating. Yeah, I've got my stream pulled up on my... Oh, that's not good. Okay, there we go. I think we're back. Maybe? Sorry about that. Yeah, I think the recording was still probably fine, but my internet for like 10 seconds there was just freaking out. Sorry about that.
This field is a sacred place for the Church of Zeros. We will have the goddess's protection here.
That's nice of her to say. Yeah, I don't know if, I know there's a big outage for a lot of people a week or two ago, but my internet's been fine, actually. Haven't had any issues there, but last night it was out for like a couple hours, so I've wondered.
Rhea, you cannot mean that.
Long have I protected Fodlan in the goddess Sothis' stead.
Okay.
It may be
Yeah, we're good.
time for that duty to finally come to an end.
And would you accept that?
Not willingly, no.
See, it's hard to tell whether or not she's like actually trying to be...
Likely to repeat the foolish actions of our ancestors. And when that happens,
See,
who will be left to
is her mother supposed to be Sothis?
This land has suffered enough as it is. I will fight with all
Teaching
my
from
strength
mother.
and spirit. For my mother,
Interesting.
for the future, even for
Yeah, it's tough because I can't really tell if she's supposed to be like good, if she's supposed to be bad. There's no one here to recruit. Okay, that's good to know. We could do so. We'll have the Federation's elites reduce the enemies to... Jeez, okay. Set Claude and Lawrence loose on the army. Okay. Sure. Decrease the durability of all enemy strongholds. Begin the battle. Stock with healing items. Agitate. Okay, we'll do this. Alright, so there we go. I mean, I wasn't planning on actually, you know, using Claude. Still very much planning on using our main for... Oh. Maybe because we chose to set them loose, we have to use them in some capacity. I don't get it. Okay, whatever. In that case, we'll just maybe have Gerald be a backup unit. Regardless, it's not like Claude isn't leveled to the point that he'd be useful.
Off to work.
Interesting. Do we not have to bring those? Oh, well, we don't need Raphael here.
I'll handle this.
I'm definitely a little bit confused, but let's just hop in with this. Leaders of the...
Let's clean up.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go back real quick and do that again as my stream lags again. What is going on today?
Oh, me?
Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. I don't know why my stream's lagging so hard today. Like, my OBS says that I'm still outputting way more than I need to for, like, my bitrate. But it's the stability box. Yeah, that's really strange. I think my internet company's just having a bit of a rough day, honestly. Interesting. Well, let's just push through. Hopefully it decides to get their stuff together. One sec, I need to make sure these unsurveyed exploring spots here, is it this one? Oh, it's because we didn't exchange a board. It's because we didn't exchange a board game for the Training Weights Bloodstone Ceremonial Sword. Yeah, I'm just gonna hope. I'll go back through my recording afterwards, so that when the VOD's posted, hopefully it still works a little bit. But I have no idea why my internet company's decided to hate me today. Because we've been streaming for like 2 months, and we've never had a problem. That is really annoying. Let's do this, though. I don't necessarily want to have Claude and Lawrence deployed. So... do that. Okay, I guess we do have to have... That's weird. Anyway, let's hop into it. I wonder if that just strengthens them, honestly. Yeah, so sorry about the connection issues, guys. Again, I don't think this should affect the VOD. What do we need to do? 1500, 25 minutes? Okay. But I have no idea why screen is freaking out. Like, my OBS is fine, the bitrate outputting is fine, but it's kind of annoying that it's like at the very end too of our playthrough.
There's no need to rush. Just keep pressing forward. Our first objective is to capture the strongholds on the front line.
She is real mad. I'll tell you that much. She is not happy with us.
Stake your lives on this battle and make the goddess proud. We will annihilate the wicked Federation army.
We've managed to advance
Hey, it's
two groups.
why is she here? We didn't have the ability to persuade her. Interesting. What is Mercedes? I wonder if a couple other members of the kingdom are actually going to be here.
We've been told to return to the capital.
Maybe to some extent, but not a whole lot, I wouldn't imagine.
Church's people.
Interesting.
Is that Mercedes? Does that mean the kingdom's commanding those troops?
Okay. Is that Yuritsa? Interesting. So there's a member from the Empire and from the... Oh, okay. Interesting. What, did he not know she was in the kingdom this entire time? Like, what did he expect? He was in the kingdom's household. A lot of little Easter eggs like that, though, from, I think, just the base game that I don't remember super well. Yeah, I've had a lot of internet, on another side. I've had a lot of problems with my internet company in the past. As you do. I feel like it's just part of life, honestly. I used to get pretty irritated about it, but only so much that you can do about it. But yeah, like, even when we were lagging out on our stream there for a second, it said I was deploying, like, just a little bit of, like, technical stream talk, but the highest bitrate it says I can put out on OBS without being, like, a Twitch partner is, 6,000 kilobytes, so 6 megabytes per second. And it was still saying, for some reason, it was saying I was outputting, like, 7K. So I don't really understand how that goes, because I thought that was just, like, a target bitrate. But my bitrate was still fine. My recording still looked fine on OBS. But the stream, like, that I had pulled up on my... I pulled it up on my, you know, second monitor. So that I kind of know what's going on. Get a good look at what's going on, aside from OBS. And it looked okay. So, weird. Anyway, back to the game though. Yeah, I'm really curious what's going on here. Lots of random people from different nations. Yuritsa's here apparently to protect Mercedes. Mercedes is here because it makes sense that at least a couple people... It does make sense that Cyril would be here as well. Because he was actually directly affiliated with the church, but... interesting. We do probably... I mean, we have 25 minutes to get an S rank on this stage. Oh gosh, okay, so that's locked out. Oh, that's where... Okay, that's where Seteth is. I guess let's take control. We could be a little bit more on the ball as far as, like, controlling every unit to go to an efficient place here goes. Because I would assume this is a pretty long stage. But until I know for certain, I don't really feel that same sense of urgency. I guess we should have her take on this stronghold. Have Claude, he appears to already be going for this stronghold, but make sure he's on that. And then we'll take the one up here. Interesting.
Initiating the operation. Let's go, everyone.
Let's try this.
Oh. I feel like I really like the whole controllable beam, but I feel like I don't use it as much as maybe I could be. That did not go the way I wanted it to. Oops. Technically, we haven't hurt Lady Rhea yet, but sure. The issue is, like, on one hand, when you side with, like, the church, Rhea actually seems like a pretty, like, wholesome, helpful leader. But when you don't, he's a tyrant, you know? And there's a reason why everyone wants it to, you know, the Church of Zeros dissolved. But here's Seteth. So we've already taken down Mercedes. I don't think... Did we fight Yuritsa? I didn't see him. We have Seteth, Cyril. When you say they must be eliminated, though, if they don't understand that, that kind of shows that it's not needed, you know? That's the thing that I don't think Seteth really gets, to be fair. Which Seteth is very loyal to Rhea, but I think just in saying that, the whole like, I think that just proves the point, you know? I do wonder if there's an epilogue stage, though. I feel like that's pretty common in Fire Emblem games. Okay, nice. Looks like these guys also captured their target forts. Yeah, see, like, it makes me wonder if there is a Church of Seiros route. Like, maybe it really is a branch off of the Kingdom route, who knows? Because last time it was off of the Empire. I really do not know. Phantom Soldiers, okay. Oh, Yuritsa and Mercedes are fighting with us, that's interesting. I didn't quite catch that. Interesting, okay. Not providing support in North, okay. Vibrant color here, okay. I don't even think we can be hit in that particular weapon art, which is nice. We should be using these. Planes here as well now. Interesting. Plane open again. See, I don't really understand that. It's the whole, like, you're trying to play this defensively at some point. I get you have to go on the offensive to quote-unquote win. But why would you open the gates? That sounds like a terrible plan. Yep. Should be good. Let's capture this one right here. Not too bad. Sorry, Cyril, but... Did they take care of Cyril on his own? On their own, I mean? Because I don't recall fighting Cyril. Okay. Yeah, we could probably just, you know, destroy it. That usually works. Oh. Okay, that, yeah. That is technically also an option, I suppose. Yeah, they kind of dipped on him. Tactical retreat, they all say, but they're basically all gone, except apparently Flame's here. Yeah, might as well pick this up. Where's the device? Here it is. Rhea got Cyril already. Where is it? Some Phantom Soldiers vanished, okay. Alright, here we go. We're gonna have her take care of this particular fort. See where everyone else is going. Sorry, Flame.
There are fewer of those soldiers. Not a problem. I've got yours now, but they're not completely gone. Ugh, they give me creeps.
Is that so? I really do wonder, is Rhea just gonna turn into a giant dragon again and we're gonna have to fight her there? What are we looking on time? Out of curiosity, 6 minutes? Almost 7, but we're basically already defeated the number of enemies we need to. In that case, we can go straight for the objectives. This is a really long fight, to be fair, to be doing 25 minutes for only 1,500 enemies. Phantom soldiers, okay. Yeah. Is this going to be the situation? I feel like maybe we need to go straight for the devices, because if we sit here and continually fight the Phantom Soldiers that are being summoned, not only did some of them disappear when we fought, but at the same time I also wonder if maybe, you know, it doesn't just keep summoning them endlessly. Apparently everyone's getting healed too, which is nice. I think we maybe took the... didn't we take the option that heals all the Stronghold Soldiers at the start? I just didn't want to release, like, Claude wouldn't have been bad, but I really didn't want to use Lorens. So even if it was like a 30-cost strategy that maybe made them super powerful, I really haven't invested in Lorens beyond making him strong enough to defeat his paralogue. So, it makes it a little bit tougher to use him. Yeah, that upper right fight there, that symbol, makes me think that there's probably a big fight with Rhea coming up. I hope she has longer to take this stronghold than I would have thought. Admittedly. Beat conditions have changed. Where is Cyril? Oh. Sorry, Cyril. Jeez. Look at how long that beam lasts. Jeez. Sorry, Cyril. Does he die? Oh, is he dead? Oh. Sorry, Cyril. I don't actually think that was something we could have gotten around, though. Cyril has died. Yeah, it was main mission. If it's main mission, I'm just assuming that it's not a death you can avoid. At this point. That's the idea, Sedith. For you. Sedith and Flame. Okay. How many times do we have to beat them in the same stage? I mean, like... Uh-oh. Oh, we went the wrong way. Yeah, that's not intimidating at all. Forgotten white magic, huh? Oh my gosh.
Infuse me with your divine strength.
Sure are, apparently. Interesting.
What? Where could magic of this magnitude be coming from?
Bye, Sedith. Brain of Ash, okay. Is he gonna come back? Because he didn't die. Like, Cyril died. You know? Here I was thinking they were gonna murder a bunch of characters, and now... potentially... Ooh. Oh. Oh, yeah. She's literally just raining down bolts on everyone. I don't know if that's... yeah. Ooh. I feel bad for him, but, like, at the same time...
They see that magic as the goddess's protection? Their faith has blinded them.
We can't fight... Okay, I was gonna say, we can't go straight to Rhea here, apparently.
People do horrible things when their faith becomes tainted with fear.
Well, let's see how much these arrows actually work on these soldiers. Well, it didn't say that Sedith died, so I guess we'll just hold out hope that they didn't die. I really didn't, like, I wasn't even intending to kill Cyril, he just kind of keeled over. I mean, we're fighting them, but... eh. They retreat. Okay, perfect. At least they're still alive. If by settle this you mean lose on your own, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, Violet's already out of weapon skill points. Kind of an issue. You have to consider we're probably waiting on a long fight. How much time do we have? Oh. That's a fancy looking sword, though. Interesting. Rhea stopped attacking, okay.
This is our final opportunity to pass judgment.
Right, well, have Violet take care of that.
If you can yet move, follow me.
Yep, okay. She didn't transform into a dragon like she did in the Empire Path, which is kind of what I was expecting to happen. But, well, let's go take out Rhea. Not that base captain. Sorry, Rhea. I doubt this will one-shot her, but we have quite a lot to go.
But we should have an easier time now.
Oh yeah, I totally didn't.
Such an abominable presence. Yes, I knew that one
Yeah,
day
Rhea.
you would turn your blade on me.
Yeah, even just the fact that, like, they were directly saying, those who don't agree with us need to die, I think is a pretty good indicator that maybe not the most necessary thing, you know? Just a thought. Rhea's fired up. Didn't we not just beat her? That's a little bit intimidating. that'd be nice, yeah.
Looks like we're finally getting to the good part. You okay to keep going?
Is she about to turn dragon?
Of course. And after we win this battle,
I swear it's gonna happen,
you're
right?
show me
Like,
the new
surely.
world you're creating.
This is not over. I must carry on for the sake of my
See, that was the problem with Edelgard's plan, though. I don't think Rhea wants to just, like, yeah.
It's time to finish this, Rhea.
Empire
You
did
sure you
start
don't
this
wanna
fight,
just
for
walk
sure,
away?
but...
It's not too late.
Yeah.
I did not
It's time
go
for it to
looking
end.
for this fight, but you will not see me run from it. You have spilled much blood during this war the Empire started.
I'm not here to talk about who started this war. I'm gonna end this. That's what's important now. This world cries out for change. While you keep it shackled to the past.
Ah!
And it's up to us.
She did do it after all.
Free.
I'm ready if you are.
Well...
For all of Fodlan!
So be it. I will crush you where you stand!
What's that? Dark magic, bow, axe. We didn't bring an axe, but I think we can use the others. Wow, she is not as tanky as some of the other, like, big beasts that we fought. What? Apparently we already did that. Oh, it's probably because of our ZR that we inherited from Lysithea. Oh, she's not weak to swords, actually. That's a lance. Well, no one else is here, so... They're on their way. I don't even think I need to order them to come, so...
We need to make one final
Oh.
push. We're almost there.
Interesting. Yeah, I was kind of thinking she was going to transform into dragon, though. Just a thought. She does seem to have much wider area attacks than the other ones do. But overall, her health does not seem like it's that high.
No problem. I got it.
Yeah, I didn't expect Yuritsa and Mercedes just join us for this fight. Like, given that especially Mercedes jumped in and was like, I'm going to help Rhea. Then we beat her up once and she was like... Because Sedith, Flame, and Cyril all got up more than once. And kept fighting like, okay, we're going to protect Rhea. And they did not. I switched over so we didn't guard break before the bar. Oh. I don't think that was the point, Lawrence, but that is probably true.
Watch closely.
No problem. I got it.
Our victory will secure my place in history
Interesting.
as a hero of Fodlan.
There we go. Okay. We didn't bring... The issue is we didn't bring an axe or a lance. But we can just brute force it. I didn't realize Lysithea still had 3 bars.
This is far from the end, but it will be a significant step forward if we win. It's my turn.
Time to finish this. Everyone, lend me your strength.
Okay. Did that do it? Yeah.
I will show you no
We're doing this quickly enough that I think we're interrupting everyone's little last hurrah speech, but... Yeah. We defeated the big dragon.
If there is any way I can help change Leicester and Fodlan for the better, I will.
Ooh.
I'm still not sure if this is really the right thing, but I have to trust Claude and push.
Oh my gosh, why is he not on his, I guess he doesn't really use a wyvern anymore. Why is he not on his steed? I swear they practically use this power more in cutscenes than we used it in-game. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like we really have not used this power very often. It's really cool, though, because this makes me think that, again, Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude probably survive no matter what path you do, based on how things turned. Unless the other paths are semi-drastically different. And we probably get different cutscenes with, like, if it's Rhea at the end of all of them. Each of them has a different weapon, different cutscene with them taking him down at the end. I didn't think we were going to kill Rhea. Again, I know Edelgard mentioned that she was maybe going to try and capture Rhea. But I never thought that was going to happen. Knowing Rhea, you know? Oh,
Our work here isn't over.
here we go.
Not by a long shot. Got plenty of road ahead.
Oh. Honestly, though, Gerald has a really good voice for reading out these types of things.
Together.
Okay.
It is now 11.
Oh, wait, are we still...
Blue Sea Moon. The Federation has joined with the Empire to invade the Holy Kingdom of Fargus.
So we did still fight the kingdom for a little bit, it looks like.
Claude sought not to conquer the kingdom, but to destroy the Central Church. After Archbishop Rhea's defeat, the Church has lost much of its martial prowess.
Other side. Yeah, I mean, if Edogar did say that it would be more convenient for her if the kingdom was dissolved. But at the same time, she did also directly state as a ruler that the point of the war was to get rid of, you know, the Central Church, Rhea's influence on everything, and that's what Claude had agreed to. And we still theoretically have an armistice with the Empire, so you would think maybe they'll accept it. But yeah, we got Parthia. It makes me wonder how we get Gravitas, because we got Mercurius by crafting it. I don't know how we get Gravitas, though. That's... yeah, not bad. Again, I probably wouldn't put it on Claude because he has Fail Not, but probably an upgrade at some point with a little bit of investment for Shamir. Oh, did I just save over that? I was totally not going to save out, but... it's curious who our MVPs were. We did go back and S-rank these, but some of these won't be. It's almost always Shez. Lysithea here, Hilda there. That does make sense. Shamir, Hilda. I really did like Shez's moveset, though. I thought it was really cool. The dual wield. The Awakening was neat, even though we didn't use it very often. Other most used characters, though, were definitely... we used Lysithea a lot. Once we got them, Geralt and Violet took the place of, like, Hilda and Shamir. But very, very similar. Honestly, a lot of these S ranks... I mean, these A ranks were because we just didn't take enough time to defeat enemies. I think there was one that we took too much time on. So it just shows on, you know, subsequent playthroughs through the other paths. We may just need to take a little bit of extra time on our fights, defeat enough enemies. And now that we know you can just hit minus to check it, because I didn't know that until like the last 2 chapters, made it so much easier to make sure we could get S ranks consistently. But a few Geralds here towards the end, Lysithea, Pylith, like, pretty neat, honestly. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Golden Wildfire path. Really, really cool. I thought there'd be a more conclusive ending. I don't know if there's going to be anything else after these credits, but, you know, Claude did propose an end to the war. The Central Church was dissolved as we aimed for. Not quite like a full happy-go-lucky ending, though. You know, at least the 3 leaders are still alive. Rhea is super dead, you know, but as are, you know, Ciro's dead, Catherine is dead, Sedith and Flame did get away. Received a letter from Lysithea. Oh, okay. So we do get an extra epilogue scene from whoever we gave the Merc Whistle to.
We may finally be able to turn the page on this war.
Yeah, we never did find the cure for her illness, and that's really concerning to me.
But at least there's a glimmer.
Because I was really hoping that would be the case.
We have you.
I thought that was going to be what happened in the paralogue. Then I thought that was what was going to happen. Oh, that was a really short letter. But I still really like Lysithea. Like, it not like the whole, like... I just thought that her, like, support conversations in 3 Houses were really, really sweet. Finding a, you know, a cure to her illness, and then if you choose to marry her, it's actually one of the only, like, endings that definitively confirms that you do have children, funnily enough, in 3 Houses. I don't remember all the other ones that do, but I know it does say that in, like, the ending notes. But I don't know, it's just really, really sweet to me. Definitely a little bit different here. But yeah, that was a really fun path. I wasn't really sure how the Golden Wildfire / you know, Golden Deer house path was going to work out. Because I do genuinely feel like of the 4 paths in 3 Houses, it was one of the least, like, cohesive ones. Like, a lot of people pointed out, but of the 3 Houses, you know, for each of 3 paths plus the church route, in the church route and the Golden Deer route, like, when you do personally put an end to Edelgard in those 2 routes, because of the war she's causing and such. In both of them, she says she wanted to, like, walk with you. But a lot of people made fun of it in the Golden Deer path, because, you know, in the church route, you were already sided with the Empire for a good chunk of that time, you know? You still have most of them with you. And so it's one of those, like, don't make it any harder than things already has to be. You know, you were close with her. You had initially been the professor of her house. Whereas they did the same thing in Golden Deer, and you're like, you're basically a stranger to me, you know? Like, if Golden Deer had been the first path you played through in 3 Houses, it wouldn't have made sense that she said that. Stuff like that. But here, I think it did suffer a little bit from different characters. Like, Mercedes showed up at the end there with Yuritsa, and we did meet Yuritsa a little bit at the very start, because we're not actually the third professor in this game. It is Yuritsa alongside Manuela and Hanneman. We met him a little bit, but, like, we had no idea that he cared so much for Mercedes. Had no idea in this path. But apparently that was enough to make them stop fighting and then fight for us at the very end there. Kind of came out of nowhere there, honestly. Just, again, not something that really was explained. Mercedes we hadn't even really seen. A good handful of the students, including, like, even Dorothea, you know? We meet her at the very beginning when you meet all the students, as always. But the academy part of the story is shortened to, like, 3-4 chapters, I think. It was, like, I think it was only 3, even. Before the 2-year time skip. So things are so much different that, you know, it's just kind of crazy that you don't get that time to maybe meet some of those academy students, maybe recruit some of them like back then. And so it makes some of their development further on in a singular path a little bit more confusing if you haven't played Three Houses. But overall, I still really enjoyed it. Thought it was fun. Sorry again about our stream did stutter for a little bit earlier. I still don't know why that was, because my bitrate for the output on internet speed and stuff did drop a couple times, which I do think was internet company, but even when it was fine for a little bit there, it was, my little indicator for, like, green, yellow, red was in red for a bit. Again, I've had issues with my internet company in the past. It's always frustrating, but it's just, again, part of life. But luckily, it kind of pulled itself back together for us. But I'm interested to see. I'm still trying to decide. I know we stated I'm probably just going to go with Empire second, because that's kind of what I said I was going to do throughout the playthrough second. But I'm really interested to see, because I actually think rather than thinking that the Empire is going to be the most unique, which I do think was the case in Three Houses, I actually think it might be the Kingdom. Because the Kingdom's the one that was put in a hard spot, because they were not only... We also fought the Empire for a while, before we called the Armistice. But the Kingdom's in a tough spot where they also had to deal with the Church, because the Church was part of their allies. So that route could potentially split, do a Church route thing with the Empire, you know, where maybe one path we defend the Church while we're sided with the Kingdom, maybe the other path we just do the same thing Demeter did, where we kind of just maybe step to the side or even side with the other two nations to stop Rhea. It's really, really hard to tell, because we don't know. The Empire, I think, will mostly be us, you know, initially launching the war on everyone. I'm not looking forward to having Hubert the entire time. I've mentioned it so many times, but words cannot describe how much I dislike Hubert. He's, like, the only character, like, if I made a list of, like, I dislike this character, neutral, like, really like, stuff like that, I genuinely think Hubert and the villains would be the only ones, in dislike, you know? And only specific villains even then, but, like, even then, he's probably the only playable character that I really dislike. Like, there's characters like Cyril that I'm neutral on, Raphael, like, Raphael and Ignatz, I mentioned, like, I just didn't use them, I'm not super invested in their character, but I didn't dislike them, you know? Like, I think overall a lot of the characters are pretty nice. I don't like Hubert. Just not a fan. Like, I don't know if he was meant to be made particularly, you know, so everyone hated him. Because there's definitely characters for that. I still can't remember her name, but the, one of the villains from the Kingdom arc in particular, I know people hated. But, yeah, not a big fan of Hubert. Overall. But that's apparently the end. Yeah, so it does end with an uneasy piece then. Its unlockable units have added to the saved data as renown exchange. I didn't even know we had a renown exchange. Vanguard whistle, okay. Instantly capture a region. That's pretty neat. So that could save us some... If that's like a reusable thing in subsequent playthroughs, that could maybe save us some time. Maddening difficulty, maybe that'll be a fun challenge later. But for the next playthroughs, I'm probably just going to do normal, casual. I'm here to enjoy this story for the most part. The gameplay's not honestly been that bad. It's been kind of fun. Especially certain characters' movesets like Shez, but I'm not going to worry about it. So, starting over a new game. You can carry over content, finish playthrough if one exists. Yep, so it's just telling us new game plus. Import a level on a per unit basis. Okay. Support levels can only be important as a batch for all units, excluding Merc Whistle, other data such as items, golden claws. Oh, okay. If you select a finished playthrough using the continue option, you would just start for the final. Oh, okay. So if we wanted to go back and grind out some previous support levels, because again, a lot of these units aren't going to be recruitable in every path. I have a feeling that, I don't know, because I think Lysithea was just characters that I prominently like. I do think Lysithea was recruitable in every single path in Three Houses, if I remember correctly. I don't know if that's going to be the case in this game. Just from gut feeling. Shamir, I do think there's potential, but I don't know. Catherine, I genuinely think will only be recruitable in the Kingdom if she's recruitable at all. And Dorothea, I could see being in every path as well. Maybe not the kingdom. The kingdom's where I'm really iffy on. But that's just based off of this standpoint here. The story could be slightly or drastically different in the other paths. I'm excited to see. Let's go ahead and save onto another file here. And then, just out of curiosity, so if we were to, okay, it just did the same thing here. How many save files? We have 8 save files. Good to know. So if I hit new game plus, we're not gonna start the new playthrough here, I don't think. But I am kind of curious to see just kind of how this starts up. So we can carry over support levels. Gear class levels will carry over automatically. So we could maybe try out different classes on different units. I don't see why we wouldn't save over support levels as well. You know, we went through all of them except for maybe like that one from Ignatz that we skipped. So we keep those. Data for the protagonist will be carried over to the second battle. During the second battle, all of their unit data. Okay, so it doesn't come over immediately. That's good to know. Quick and efficient. Yep. Alrighty. So we'll just get this path started. We don't need to watch all the cutscenes again. That's nice too. That'll save us some time. We'll obviously go through all the dialogue and stuff once we get into our new paths, because that'll be new. But I'm just getting this save file set up so that next stream we can start out probably our Empire playthrough. Oh, you can't skip this event. Alright. Interesting.
Finally.
But, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and end the stream there, though, guys. Honestly, we can redo all of that stuff as the start of the fresh New Game Plus next time. Bit of a shorter stream this time, but again, if we tack this on to the end of our other playthrough, it would have taken a really, really long time. I mean, yesterday's stream to get things done. We would have been there for a very, very long time. So, I overall really enjoyed that path, though. Really excited to do the other 2 paths, kind of see what happens, get to know the other characters again. Also, just kind of see what different characters will carry over. But part of the fun, I think, in Three Houses is continually doing more and more save files, you know, maxing out everybody's support levels, getting really, really strong from the get-go. But I didn't know that levels and all that stuff would carry over immediately, though that is interesting. Well, after, like, Chapter 1, Chapter 2. But sorry again, guys, just one more time. I do feel bad about that little stream lag. I'm going to double-check my recording. Hopefully that doesn't affect it. I don't think it will. But again, we've streamed for, like, 2 months now, and we've never had an issue with it. Every now and then, though, internet companies just die, you know? Just how it goes. But I will check into that as well. Maybe there is a planned outage or something like that. Who knows? I would think if there was, it would have completely cut out. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I think, again, a couple people maybe stopped by from Discord. Just to kind of hang out for a bit. But I will catch you guys next time. I'll definitely check through the VOD, make sure none of that messed up, and then I'll post it on YouTube. So if anything lagged out too bad in the stream, I don't know exactly what the perspective was. You could just hop over there, watch it if you're interested. But I'll catch you guys next time, though. Bye.